There we go. All right. Hold on. Whoa. I got things tangled in a way that I don't want them tangled. Hold on. That'll be easier. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. It is the Rant with me, Pugs Moran, every day round about the noon o'clock hour, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the, looks weird, doesn't it, my screen? Why do I look small? No, don't like that. Hold on, guys. I'm having some issues here trying to figure out why my screen looks so weird today. Oh, I know. It's because I'm sharing that. That's what it is. Look at that. All right, there's the big news. We will be monitoring multiple skylines today, provided to us by our good friends at YouTube. YouTube, when you got nothing to watch. Hold on. Do this. You know what? How do I just get rid of this? All right, there we go. We'll get rid of that. We'll just come back to normalcy. There we are. Excuse me. I got a crazy cold going on here. I always like to tell you of the various states of my health before we start a show, because these various states of my health will impact how long I'll be doing a show today. Today, I don't know. Today I got as long. I got forever today. Well, I don't have forever. I actually have something to do. But here's the thing. We usually do about 2 hours. Sometimes it becomes about a 3-hour current event daily conversation that we do here every day from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios, all the way dating back to 2021. And, you know, I try to give you 2 hours. Sometimes I give you more. Obviously, we have extenuating circumstances going on in the world right now. I watched a dude, my dude, Steve Lookner. You guys know Steve Lookner? Are you guys following Steve Lookner? I'm not one of these people who streams, who just hates everybody else who streams, right? No, I'm inspired by and, encouraged by and motivated by. Steve Lookner does breaking news, and I've been telling you about this kid forever. And I call him a kid because I think he's probably like 15 years younger than me. Plane crashes, go to Lookner first. Terror attack, go to Lookner first. School shooting, Lookner's got it. Well, he also had, of course, the big news of the weekend, which is that we're apparently at war. Apparently we're at war. He had that far earlier than everybody else on Friday night. I was watching him, and I have been watching him all weekend, and I swear to God, what do we got? Let's call it 72 hours in a weekend, all right? Beginning at 5 o'clock on Friday until 9 a.m. Monday. Let's call it 72 hours of a weekend. I swear to God, man, this Steve Lookner kid, he was streaming at least 65 hours. he has been just nonstop, and he's on right now. And I don't want you to go look at him over there because he's very boring. He's not fun like me, but he is informative. So when we're done here, we can all go over there together. But until then, let's hang out here and try and put a little different spin on everything that's been happening. So we went to war on Friday night. That's how we're going to start. We went to war on Friday night. What you're hearing there in the background, is the chat room right? Hold on, let me make sure the chat room is right. I mean, I guess the chat room isn't right, but is it the way we've grown accustomed the last couple of shows? All right, I would say that's what it is. It is the way we've grown accustomed. Is it right? I don't know. Breaking news, 3 American fighter jets accidentally shot down by Kuwait. That's not breaking news. That's not breaking news. That was breaking news at 7 a.m. It's 12 now. That ain't breaking news. And that's what, CNN does. CNN and the traditional media, they don't have the immediacy that we have here doing live streams, following Twitter, reading posts as they come out. We also don't fact check quite the way they do. I mean, they've got checks and balances before they break a story on the air. Oh, no, they don't. All they do is lie. Shut up. Shut up. On Twitter, we run with shit all the time. We see a report. We immediately think, oh, my God, that report is probably going to get retweets. Let me amplify it. I've got the hiccups now. Great. We're at war, and I've got the hiccups. Oh, boy. Excuse me. Yeah, so we had a friendly fire incident. We'll get into that. We'll talk about all of that. Thankfully, knock on imitation Formica. Thankfully, our pilots are all okay. Hiccups are still coming, and they're coming bad. That's what you get with this show. You get all kinds of like unprofessional things. Look, I don't work in radio anymore. Fuck it. I don't need to be like Johnny Radio Guy. I don't need to be all prim and proper. We're doing a live stream. We put up with a lot of stuff. Why? Because we make no money. This is not like I don't have to put on airs of professionalism in order to fit into we're making the rules up as we go here with these live streaming. So I apologize. But look at what I was able to do there. See, that was my trick. I was able to beat my hiccups. They're gone now. Fuck you, hiccups. A victory. So on Friday night, we went to war. And before we get into anything, I want to state my my long-standing... See, folks, this is forget about me. And this is why I'm such a loser. I'm fucking principled, dude. I'm principled. I have these principles, okay? And until somebody can convince me that I am wrong in this principled stance, I'm going to stick with it. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't change my mind, because I do. But on this particular topic, I think I've been pretty consistent since I'm like 10 years old. The regime in Iran had to go. Had to go. You're a hawk. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just somebody who understands our place, our collective place, the United States of America. I understand our place in the world. And I'll go through it again, guys. I'll go through it again, okay? There was a point in time somewhere during the Cold War that we as a nation decided that it was more important for us to have the most bombs, the most planes, the most spacey technology, all of that stuff, so that we could be the most powerful singular force in the world. A force sold to us, the great unwashed American populace, a force sold to us as a force for good. We're the good people in the world. And when we see bad people taking advantage of the innocent and the oppressed, we are going to go and we're going to get involved and we're going to help those people, because our job as this beacon on a hill of a nation is to spread the word about liberty and freedom to all corners of God's green earth. That's who America is. That's what they told us. And then they said, but your kids are going to be fucking stupid because our education's going to suck. And we're not going to give you free health care the way every other pussy nation in the world does, but we'll have bombs to blow the fuck out of them. Let's see how their health care fixes them after we've bounced some rocks for a couple of weeks. So that was kind of what was sold to us. And, I don't know if all of us liked it. I was probably way too young or not even born yet when this decision was made, but that's who America was. We became a superpower who didn't really care about our citizens' health care and really didn't put a whole lot of effort into educating. Because, an educated population, they think too much. They ask questions. We don't want that. Let's make them stupid. What can we do to make them stupid? Let's get rid of civics. Oh, yeah. Let's make sure that generation after generation of American publicly educated student doesn't know anything about their responsibilities as an American citizen. Let's make sure we can do that. Then they'll be stupid and we can send them to war. Let's also make college really fucking expensive so that the ones that are broke ass, kids in school, they're broke ass, after high school, let's make it so they can't afford college without going off and fighting some war that we put them in. Some police action. Because as we've been reminded over and over and over again for the past 72 hours, that this country has not declared a war on another nation officially through the apparatus that we've created. You got to go through Congress. We haven't done that since World War II. Yet here we sit. We're at war. That's what we do. So again, my take on this regime change, when it became apparent to me that this was about regime change. And when did it become apparent? Well, when we fucking killed the Ayatollah. As soon as that was broken, that we killed the Ayatollah. Got to be honest with you, didn't believe it. I was like, yeah, whatever. That dude's going to pop up in a week. It's going to be like, ha ha. But no, it's pretty clear at this point that the Ayatollah is gone. Sayonara. So that told me that this wasn't just another one of these publicity attacks on Iran that we've seen over the last couple of years. We took out they're 2 weeks away from making a nuke that can hit San Francisco. We took out their capability. We've done this multiple times. And I thought, a lot going on with Israel, a lot of other things going on. The front pages here in America are just filled with things that I think the president of the United States would rather see pushed to the background. So what can we give him to talk about? So let's bomb Iran. And I really did think it was another one of those. let's blow up a couple of their science buildings. Let's blow up some of their planes, and then they'll retaliate in the way that they retaliate, which is with a couple of missile launches into Israel, and it'll be fine, and it'll be over. And that's what I assumed. I think that's what we all assumed this was going to be again. But this ain't it. And I'm very pleased to say that it looks like there is going to be wholesale change in Iran, which is an amazing country. It is an just in the history of man, Iran is like super important. Or let's not call it that anymore. Can we go back to calling it Persia? I know all my Persian friends would appreciate that. Persia. Although wasn't Persia a region? Like Persia was like a massive region. Anyway, so this is real. So we're gonna have new leadership. It looks like we're gonna have a new country there in Iran. So again, just from the very start of all of this, I want to make it absolutely clear that I am not one of these people who are like, he said no wars. If Obama had, I wanted Obama to do this. I thought we were getting close, if you remember, and maybe you're not old enough to remember the details, but when you get to be my age, you actually remember past administrations. And I remember thinking Obama needs to bomb Iran. Obama needs to do this. We need to get these guys out of there. We need to set up some stability there. Come on. And he didn't. Obama made peace. And we just had 20 years of just bullshit again? Same bullshit. It's kicking the can. American politicians love the kicking the can strategy of governing. Well, Trump didn't kick the can. He smashed the can, and I'm not a Trump guy. I'm not a Trump guy. And I understand that the timing of this is like, I guess we're not talking about Epstein no more. We're not. This is hiccups are back. But I think this is good. I think this is good. Now I don't know. I'm not a military strategist. I don't pretend to be. I don't know much about the region other than I've sat here my entire life since they took hostages when I was 10 years old, saying, oh, that's a problem. And then, my opinion on this has also been informed by the fact that I hung around with a lot of Persians. I know a lot of Persians. There's a lot of Persians here in Chicago that I went to college with, that I became friendly with, that I just knew from living. A lot of Persians there in Dallas. Big Persian community in Dallas that I got to know, that I got to be friendly with. So, I don't look at Iranians like they're monsters. I understand, the story of we were chased out of our country because these crazy religious people took over. And me, an atheist in America, or at least an agnostic, I would say. I'm not an atheist because I do believe in something. But me as an agnostic in America, I'm like, oh shit, that could happen here. Christian people getting a little too chusty. You know what I mean? I'm starting to worry about my place in this one. So I sort of always understood that mentality of the Persian American. And I always, I dated a Persian girl. What do you want from me? What do you want? They're beautiful. Have you ever seen Persian girls? They're absolutely beautiful. So I've always wanted regime change. I didn't care who did it. It's not a Republican or a Democratic issue. I thought it was a world issue. And why did I think we were the ones to do it? Because let's go back to what I said. We gave up on education in this country. We gave up on healthcare in this country. And what we decided was we were going to have a badass military. And we never seemed to use it to the extent that we've got deserts filled with warplanes that are just rusting out and have never flown. They were built because people in that congressman's district need the jobs to build them. We just don't need what they're building. And that has sort of always irritated me. So here we are. Here we go. 3 dead so far. Let's pull it up. Let me show you. We'll look at. I got a couple of different views here. No, we'll go into all of it. Let's start out. What's this one? This will be the. All right. This is the Tel Aviv in Israel, the Tel Aviv skyline. It is currently what time is it? 7:53. What? Hold on. No, it's not 7:53. I got to refresh that. It is 8:39. There we go. 8:39 p.m. That's the other thing about this thing. The bombing started during the day. That is weird. I mean, we expect the majority of the campaigns that we see now. President Trump has said he expects 4 weeks of this. Who knows, right? I mean, the Russians were supposed to take Ukraine in 2 weeks. So, again, knock imitation for Micah Wood. Hopefully we can get this wrapped up. They started the attack during the day. The Israelis did. Which is, again, rare. They usually do it under the cover of night, but they did it during the day because they knew that they had such an overwhelming combined force between the American pieces that were in place and the Israeli pieces that were, they're a whole kennel filled with rabid pit bulls who've been muzzled. So we took them off, and they attacked in the light of day. Ballsy. Because, they said they were never going to expect this. And that is how they were so effective with that first strike. There was like a big meeting going on behind, all the big Iranian generals and all that stuff. Having a meeting is 2:00 on a Friday or whatever it was. And all of a sudden they're gone. They're all gone. So it's 8:39 right now in Tel Aviv. We're looking at this 8:39 and, it's 9:23 in Tehran, Iran. 9:23. Why? Why does this happen? I understand that we're all on different hours, but how are they on different minutes? How that's if there's no other reason for regime change. We need to get them on a normal. It's 12:41 here, right? It's 12:41 here in America. I don't know why I'm obsessed with the time. It's 12:41 here in America. It is 8:41 in Israel. That makes sense. There are a couple hours difference. But it's 9:23 p.m. in Tehran. All right. What else do we have here? You know what, guys? So I didn't do this before the show. I'm going to leave this up for a second. I need to take a quick break. I need to just run and go to the bathroom because I knew this was going to be a problem. Let me remind you, we're going to do a whole bunch of stuff today. Don't worry. We're just getting started. We're going to watch cameras. We're going to see bombing. We're going to watch videos. We're going to talk about that. And then we've got other things to do too. So I don't know. We're going to keep an eye on what's going on in the war, but we've got other things we got to talk about too. So hold on a second. Let me take a quick break. Okay. I just got to run to the bathroom. I'm so sorry. I didn't do this beforehand. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. Let's check in with the chat room. Let's see. I'm sure you guys have some opinions on all of this. So let's see how it's going. First of all, let me get the magic mirror out. We'll play our romper room game where I say hi. Let me see who was in first. We've got Barney. Barney was in the chat room first, and he also has a very interesting comment. He says, Epic Fury is a great name for a cat. Operation Epic Fury is not a great name for a cat. What it is, or is that Epic Furry? Epic Furry is a great name for a cat. I don't know. How do you spell them? I'm terrible at spelling. I used to be great at spelling. I won a spelling contest in like 8th grade, decided I was the best speller in my grade and stopped spelling. That's what happened. Also, I started to go to school with a whole bunch of kids from Pakistan and India, and those kids learned to spell at a very early age because their names have 50 vowels. All right. Epic Fury is a great name for Gatorade. That's what this is. This is the Gatorade war. Epic Fury, come on. Operation Epic Fury is Gatorade, Barney. Barney was the first person in. Then we've got Taronda. I see Taronda. I see Peter. I see Maddie. I hate that I got to make it smaller. Just to say hi to everybody. Peter went on a run. We're about 10 different comments. I like that. That's okay, Peter. Please keep it active. We got Leslie. Hi, Les. We got Ape. She's here. Who else? Say hi to everybody. This is the first wave. I always like to say hi to the first wave that's in the chat room. Oh, I really wish I had a better way to do this. Mikey D is here. Ed is here. Yeah, he's like, turn the overlay off. But then people complain to me. So I don't mind the overlay. I kind of like the overlay. And if it's just a situation now where it's just bothering you, Ed, then, get over it, buddy. I love you, but I mean, I can't take everybody going, and I know you're like, there's 3 people on Facebook and 7 on YouTube watching the show. I get that. But I don't mind it. Adam is here. Maddie, as I said, she's here. We're going to talk to Maddie because Maddie's got another one of these Shia LaBeouf updates. That's right, Shia LaBeouf. We got some regular stuff we're going to talk about. As I said, it can't all be the war. This here is Tel Aviv. We'll, let's see. Hold on. I got so many damn windows open. I have to. It's just one of those days. No. All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's take a look at this one. Let's see. Here's a whole bunch of cameras. Yeah, let's check out these now. All right, what are we looking at here? Let me see. We look, guys, I got the sound up here on multiple cameras. We're not just hearing an audio source from one camera. We're hearing an audio source from a couple of different cameras here. Because what we're listening for are the sirens. We're going to put up with this white noise in the background because as soon as we hear sirens, we got to stop everything. That has been how I've been living the last 48 hours. I got my TV on in one room. And it's got this stream going with the cameras, and then there's another TV there. I'm staying at my mom's house. She's got a lot of TVs. And there's another TV. I got Sky News on because I ain't watching CNN. This is so stupid, guys. Don't watch this war be covered by the partisan bullshit we've become accustomed to in this country. Don't watch this. Don't. Watch it on Sky News. Those people, until just recently, didn't really have a dog in this hunt other than, the dog that the whole world has in this hunt, which is, let's not kill everybody on the planet. But they weren't really involved in this until, their bases started getting attacked. So Sky News has been fantastic. Sky News also have a better relationship with that part of the world. Britain and England, that used to be a part of their colonies. They've got all kinds of news bureaus and people on the ground in places that CNN and those other things don't have. CNN just got Aaron Burnett and Al Anderson Cooper on a plane, and they got them standing on top of the Four Seasons in Jerusalem or wherever. Meanwhile, Sky News has fucking people in flak jackets walking next to military dudes. It's pretty good. Sky News is where you need to be watching this. Anyway, what do we have here? All right, this camera up here, I guess we're looking, this is from the airport in Tel Aviv. So, you got to look for things suddenly appearing in the sky. Have you guys been doing that? Have you guys just been, it's pretty, how TikTok makes you fucking drunk off, the endorphin rush? It's the same thing. It's like, I'll glance up and I'll be like, what is that? Is that a star? And then it'll start to get brighter, and then you'll start to see like 50 more behind it. Oh my God. Could you imagine? Now, this is another thing that I always say about us Americans. We're watching this war as a TV show. It's a TV show. It's happening way, way somewhere else. To people that we don't know, they may as well be our favorite TV characters. Netanyahu. That's not a real person to us. That's just a guy who's on a TV show that we watch. Is this the kind of thing that's going to bring the war home to us in a way that maybe... Oh, what's that? What's that? Did you see that? Hold on. I thought I just saw something here in North Israel. All right, so we got the Tel Aviv camera in Israel. We got North Israel here. This is South Israel. Just we're looking at the skylines. Beirut is another big player as of yesterday. Beirut because Hezbollah. No, wait a second. Spent my entire life knowing how to pronounce Hezbollah. It's Hezbollah. Hezbollah. It's been Hezbollah since the 1970s. Hezbollah. Now all of a sudden we've got fancy reporters calling it Hezbollah. Like it's a different pronunciation now. You can't just change the pronunciation. Although they did that with Arab. Remember, it was Arab. It was Arab for a while, and then it became Arab. And it was Muslim. And wasn't it Muslim too? Wasn't Muslim? Oh, you got all the black Muslims. Like, what was the difference between Muslim and Muslim? And then Islam and I don't know, whatever. We're culturally unfamiliar with it. So anyway, Beirut has now gotten involved because Hezbollah is, of course, a longstanding proxy of the Iranian military. Iran doesn't cause any problems. Well, our military doesn't do it, but their proxies, their terror organizations spread throughout the Middle East, has been doing things, not in the name of Iran, but because of Iran for generations. And that's one of the reasons why regime change must happen. We've got just about everybody in the Middle East. Say what you will about Trump, but his real estate deals have really seemed to tamp down the need to have a whole bunch of, like, you know, well-funded from quiet Middle Eastern government terror cells all around the world. It doesn't really seem to be as much of a problem today as maybe it was 25 years ago. Trump's becoming a billionaire off it, but you know what? No, you know what? Look, I can't. I'm sorry. Yes, I do. I approve of this mission. I approve of this mission, but it doesn't mean I approve of Trump, okay? I've been spending the last couple of days on Twitter with all of these, like, MAGA people. I didn't vote for this. You know, I'm going, well, yeah, just consider it a gravy. Consider it a delicious gravy. I didn't vote for this. They don't care. Trump's people don't care. Trump's people who were, you know, oh, we don't want this, we don't want this. They don't know why they wanted or didn't want anything. They were just hearing Trump go, Obama's going to get us in a war with Iran. And they're like, that's the worst thing that can happen. And now we're in a war with Iran. And they're like, we needed it. Well, we did need it. So even a blind squirrel, I guess. I don't know. I am extraordinarily worried about what this means in the long term. Wouldn't it be fantastic if this really was just so successful that it was over in 4 weeks? We had a new regime in Iran, one that we can control. And yeah, I'm still using the word regime. I don't see them becoming, you know, like California in the Middle East. They're going to still be pretty. Although, you know, Iran in the 70s, we've all seen the pictures of Iran in the 70s. Pretty wild. Hot chicks, driving cars, smoking cigarettes. You know, it was very, very modern, very, very modern and Western before the Islamic Revolution. That's probably the reason for the Islamic Revolution, that it was so Western. What else are we looking at? We got Qatar. Qatar's a player. Here's Ben Gurion Airport. This is the big fancy airport in, I don't know, Tel Aviv. I don't know. Where's Ben Gurion Airport? Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. And then here we got Haifa. Haifa is one of the disputed settlement areas, I guess. Historically disputed settlement areas. All right, so we got those. What other cameras do we have to look at? Let's see. This one is... All right. I think this one. All right, let's see what this one is. This is a clearer one, so this ain't bad. This is nice. This is, you know, bigger. All right, we got 4 here. We're looking at, don't want the chat room. These chat rooms on these live cams are filled with the craziest people. They're all agents of, like, chaos and whatever. They can't be real people. There can't be this many people who get off on saying the most objectionable things every other post. All right, here we got a pretty clear. These are better cameras. I like this one. Maybe we get rid of the other one. Hold on. Maybe we don't even deal with this one. Yeah, we just use these two. All right. We need sound up on this one. All right, so what we're looking at here is 4 cameras. We've got Beirut here in the upper left. We've got Tel Aviv in the upper right. And then on the bottom, we've got Jerusalem and Beirut. Looks pretty quiet. Don't know if there's any alerts or anything, but you know what? Maybe we make this small. Can we do that? Man, I don't know about making it small, but let me try this. It's going to make me there. How about if I do this? Boom. There we go. Okay, that's how we'll do it. Just keep an eye out. Keep it down there. We'll see if we see anything spark off. Although at some point, I guess I'm going to have to stop sharing that because I've got other things. Oh, man. There's a story in the New York Post today that we're going to get into, too. Another one of these, another mayor of some town in Louisiana hooked up with a 16-year-old boy. We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about the trauma that 16-year-old boy must be going through. We're also going to talk about, speaking of 16-year-old boys, I've got a 16-year-old boy, and let's talk of the draft now. There's talk of there's a lot of talk of the draft. We haven't had a draft in this country since 1973 yet. All 18-year-old boys in this country must register for selective service within 30 days of their 18th birthday. Or they get, here's the deal. If you don't register for selective service within 30 days, do you remember this, guys, when you were 18? If you don't register within 30 days, the FBI will come to your house and they'll arrest you. Yeah. You'll never be able to get a job. You'll never be able to work for the post office. That was always the one. They always threw it out. You'll never get a job as a postman. I don't want a fucking job as a postman. I don't want to walk that much. What? Yeah, so it went away in 1973, yet still, just in case, we've all had to register under penalty of federal crime, treason, if you don't register within 30 days. Would you believe that I was like the 17, 18-year-old who decided he wanted to test that? I was like, fuck that. I ain't registering. What's the worst that can happen? At the time, I think it was Reagan, and I was very anti-Reagan at like 17, 18-year-old. I was burning all down punk rock at 17, 18 years old. I was everybody over 30 is the devil at 17, 18 years old. So, yeah. So I decided, I was like, stupid. Like I could tell when people were lying to, because they thought you were inexperienced or, immature, whatever. So I was like, they ain't sending an FBI agent to the home of every 18-year-old kid who didn't register within 30 days. Do you know how many FBI agents they would need? Do you know how much gas in the cars to drive to the houses of these? Come on. And I was like, this is not happening. This government is broke. They're not wasting money on shit like that. And I was right. Nothing ever fucking happened. Nothing ever happened. I even dabbled with the idea of joining the Navy at one point. And they had no problems. They're like, yeah, hey, come on. Like 2 years later. So anyway, selective service is back in the news. And let's talk about who goes and who doesn't. Because some people don't go. My son doesn't go. He doesn't have to go. He's going, and if he does have to, we have to be losing so bad for them to come for my son. How about yours? We're going to go through some of the criteria. My son has a condition. My son has a couple of things in his favor here, but he has a condition that I've never talked about on the air that he is not allowed. He would be, if he said, I don't want to go because of this condition, they would say, okay, yeah, you're right. Let me tell you, it's a lot more serious than fucking bone spurs. It's like something that they would be serious about. Yeah, you probably shouldn't go. Bone spurs. I read a story today, an adjoining story to the criteria for selective service that we all might be looking at, especially if we have kids who are teenagers. I saw a story about, and we're going to cover this too. We're going to talk about, what about Barron Trump? Barron Trump seems to be at the age where if they bring back the draft, he seems like he's a Trump. How about being the first Trump to ever fight in the war? Yeah, no, Barron Trump won't go. Apparently, he's too tall. He's too tall to be drafted. That's what they say. Some combination of he's too tall and, of course, bone spurs being genetic and all. He probably also has bone spurs. How about Yair Netanyahu? Yair Netanyahu. We'll talk about him. He's the son of Benjamin Netanyahu. Can he be drafted into, don't they have mandatory military service over there in Israel? Why isn't Yair Netanyahu like a, captain or something? Why is it? Well, because he's running a club in Miami, and we'll talk about that. But they are whispering about selective service in the draft. So, but don't worry if you're a Trump fan or a Netanyahu fan. Their children seem to be safe, even though both are draftable age. We'll get into that story too. Let's see. Hold on, guys. All right, yeah, let's just get out of that. Let's end that. Let's talk about as we woke up today. Talked about how this all went down. It was over the weekend. It started in the middle of the day there in the Middle East. It was late at night, as they said on Saturday Night Live, at the totally normal time of 2 a.m. American time. Trump came out with his white hat and his no tie, and at 2 a.m., I missed it. I was asleep. I got to be honest with you. I woke up around 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, and that was when I was like, whoa! Because when I went to bed on Friday night, it was not happening. It was not a thing. Anyway, hold on. So I had to jump in on Saturday morning. Happened in the middle of the day. That was odd. Trump gave his little speech in his little USA hat. And he wasn't awake at 2 a.m. See, here's the other thing. They knew they were going to do this, and this is fine. Look, I have long since given up on nitpicking everything about Trump. Because you see, when I want to nitpick things about Trump, I fall back into the way I used to nitpick things about, Biden or Bush or Obama or any president that we use, the little things that we nitpick on. Well, that wasn't classy, or that wasn't the appropriate way to do that. We used to get all bent out of shape. Can't do that with Trump. Everything is slightly inappropriate. Everything, you can't be distracted by the little things. So Trump recording this message to America that was posted at 2 a.m. where he announces that we are bombing Iran with Israel. That message, whatever. I'm not going to get mad at it. But it was recorded. It was recorded in the middle of the day. The outfit was very performative. The hat. Like, he's got the hat and no tie. Like, hey, man, I was just in the war room, commanding tanks, and I stepped out so that I could give you the American people. I'm surprised he didn't have his sleeves rolled up. Surprised he wasn't wearing a fighter, a bomber jacket. It was very performative. But, okay, so he did that 2 a.m. We all woke up to that. This morning, I woke up to this. This was weird because I thought Trump hated Jake Tapper, but apparently Trump and Jake Tapper, they spoke this morning for 9 minutes. Jake Tapper immediately jumped on with CNN. They broke into their morning newscast with this big news. Hold on. Oh, wait. Actually, I think I've got it already, don't I? Hold on. Sorry. There it is. Yeah. Hold on. I've got way too many windows open. There's way too much stuff going on today. That's why I'm talking a little bit slower. That's why I'm trying to be a little bit more paced. All right, let's watch this. Too many windows. Here we go. Okay. Don't give me a commercial. Don't give me a commercial. Oh, for fuck's sake! That's only 13 seconds.
Breathe Right strips have spring-like bands that open your nose, instantly relieving nasal congestion. So every breath feels
Very all right. We gave Breathe Right free
Ambassador, can you just stick with me real quick? We've got my colleague and anchor Jake Tapper on the line. He just spoke with President Trump. Jake, what can you tell us?
Hey there. So I just got off the phone with President Trump. It was a 9-minute phone interview, and we talked just about the war in Iran. I'm going to share some of it with you right now. The president said, quote, "We're knocking the crap out of them. I think it's going very well. It's very powerful. we've got the greatest military in the world and we're using it. I asked the president how long he thought this military operation or war might last. He said, quote, "I don't want to see it go on too long. I always thought it would be 4 weeks, and we're a little ahead of schedule." I asked the president if the U.S. was doing more than these military strikes to help the Iranian people regain control of Iran against the regime, to seize the country from the Iranian regime. And he said, "Yes," the president said. "Yes, we are indeed. But right now we want everyone staying inside. It's not safe out there." And then the president said, it's about to get even less safe. He said, quote, "We haven't even started hitting them hard. The big wave hasn't even happened. The big one is coming soon." We asked him about a bunch of other stuff too.
So that's a showman. Presidents don't speak like that. Presidents don't give up their hand. Certainly if they're being truthful, which is why, I don't know, is that Trump just going, "Oh, we haven't even tried yet"? Is that like, I don't know. Or that sounds, here's the problem with the coverage of this. We have cameras in the places that we're allied with. We have cameras in, Qatar and Kuwait and Jerusalem and Tel Aviv and, Lebanon. We have cameras in places that Iran is attacking. We have very little cameras. We have very little ability to see what the United States is actually doing because there's nothing coming out of Iran. Shit is coming out of Iran hours later. Like, we're seeing videos, and even then in the age of AI and, purposeful misinformation, we have no idea what to believe of all of these videos that we see being shared on social media. So I don't know. I just wish we could see. I know that we get the Defense Department's video of stuff, but again, even that's like 10 hours later. Like, I wish, instead of sitting here watching Jerusalem get burned or, Tel Aviv or these other places, I'd like to see some of the bad guys' places get burned. And by the way, it's like, "Oh, Pugs, what, you think Israel's the good guys?" In this scenario, yeah. Generally speaking, no, I don't really think Israel are the good guys. But generally speaking, I'm not sure that we're the good guys either. So, but in this microcosm right now, whatever is happening in this war, yes, I would like to say I see the Iranians as the bad guys. Until we can get some kind of new leadership for those people there, they are the bad guys. They will remain that way. Okay, back to Jake Tapper and his little conversation this morning with Donald Trump, which is really interesting because, Trump's taking a lot of heat for not coming out, not doing the Oval Office thing. Like, Sunday night at 8:00 last night would have been the perfect opportunity for Trump to either, do the walk down the corridor to the podium there in the White House, the way Obama did. Remember, Obama turned the corner and then walked to the camera and then told us, "We got him," or the Obama thing or the Osama thing. Or he could just sit behind the desk, my fellow American style. He didn't do either one of those. He's getting criticized for that. I think he probably should have, but I don't know why he didn't. He always likes to go on camera. But what he is doing is he is talking to people, like he is taking phone calls. The fact that he took a call from Jake Tapper at CNN this morning and talked to him for 9 minutes about all of these things, answering the questions directly, that's wild. Because Trump hates Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper seems to hate Trump.
Writing up, and we'll share later on The Lead at 5 p.m.
Jake, in your many conversations with him, did you get a sense of mood, tone? I think I saw it described, as he's been doing some interviews, especially over the phone, kind of just how he sounds in this moment as this is playing out?
He sounded very pleased with how the operation's going. He sounded very resolute in terms of the Iranian threat to the region and the world, very confident about how this was, even though they did try to negotiate with the Iranians, how this ultimately was the right decision and the right approach, given all of the unrest, all of the terrorism, all of the menace that the Iranian regime had been offering ever since the revolution of 1979. He didn't seem to be in doubt at all, thought things were going really, really well. and we're going to continue. And obviously, we're only on day, 3 of this operation. It started Saturday. And the president is projecting at least possibly that this military operation will last about a month, although obviously that's not a firm and set time period. So there's a lot more to come.
All right, a lot more to come. Well, if you remember, it was like day 3 when George Bush climbed aboard the aircraft carrier and did the whole mission accomplished thing. And then 20 years later, we were still fighting that war. So 4 weeks, a month. All right. Well, you set the end game, right? 4 weeks. So after, I'm not going to sit here and talk about what does this look like as a long drawn out, another Middle Eastern war where we went in without our traditional allies, but we do seem to have backing from Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and Qatar and the UAE and all these things, which leads me to my next question about all of this, which is, I'm somebody who, as I said, I've been wanting regime change over there. I think they're the reason that the Middle East is so unstable, and I'm glad to see that somebody is finally taking the initiative. I'm glad it's us. It had to be us. It had to be us. See, the thing the whole time was Israel can't do this, right? It was always the United States has to do this by proxy for Israel, because if Israel did this, the entirety of the rest of the Muslim world would turn on the Jews and it would be their end. They just, no matter how powerful Israel is, they're not powerful enough to be able to take on everybody from Turkey to Egypt, right? Taking it on all sides. Jordan, that was the fear. That was the fear for generations, that Israel had to just sit there and do nothing. That's changed. We have now seen Israel take the initiative in last few years. They've done this a number of times. They have actually gone first. But that's why when Israel blew up their nuclear things a couple of years ago, everybody thought that was the start of World War III, because we had been always told that if Israel does that, well, Israel's going to go away. And guess what? Israel didn't. Here's something else that's been happening that we have to factor into this. And it's been a great criticism of President Trump, certainly by me. The dude is making billions of dollars, making all kinds of real estate deals with some of the worst people in the world, most of them located in the Middle East. He's developing the Trump mansions. He's involved with shit in Qatar. They're giving him planes. So here's the thing. Has Trump's desire to enrich himself from his position as president of the United States, something that we've never allowed before and something that bothers a lot of people. The president of the United States should not be out there trying to ring his cash register through connections that he makes because of his position as president of the United States. That's wrong. That's wrong on paper. It's wrong. Yet it seems to me that there is a coalition of Arab countries that are behind these attacks against Iran in a way that they never have been before. And I have to wonder, is this simply because money? Is that what is going to cause peace in the Middle East? If we want peace in the Middle East, if we want Iran gone, if we want some semblance of a community there where people can have differences yet still get along and observe borders, if that is truly what we want, are we willing the cost of that to be Trump makes billions illegally? I mean, yes, we were all mad to see Trump holding the giant orb. Remember that? His first trip, his first term in office, where he went to Saudi Arabia and they vetted him like a king and he had the orb and all that. We all mocked that and we all worried about, oh my God, this guy is selling out all of our interests. But what if a byproduct of that is he's got all the Arab nations working together because they all want a piece of the Four Seasons in Gaza? What if that is a byproduct of greed? That the Arab countries will be fine with Israel taking it to Iran because they know that when it's all done, it doesn't really matter about Iran, because this U.S. president is promising all kinds of crazy development and deals and money and real estate. And what is going on? Isn't that an odd question? Do you want peace in the Middle East more, or do you want the president to not be a grifting con man? Like, which is it? because we got a grifting con man president. And again, I think the byproduct of that is that we've suddenly got a coalition of Arab countries that are all right with Israel bombing Iran. This is the world we're in. Fuck, again, even a blind squirrel. I mean, did he intend for this to be the result? Maybe, I don't know. He's playing 3D chess. I don't know. But it is true. Saudi Arabia, 100% behind this. We've seen Kuwait, 100% behind this. Although Kuwait shot down a bunch of our planes today. And they're like, sorry. Yeah, we'll investigate that when the dust settles on all this. Right now, we're going to allow you to say that it was a mistake, Kuwait. Kuwait's working on our behalf. Shot down a bunch of our guys. They're all fine. 6 of them, they parachuted out. We got video of it. We'll show it to you later. But they're fine. But, sure. You know who we've got acting up? You know who we've got taking up defense for Iran? We've got Hezbollah. Well, fuck Hezbollah. Hezbollah, without the backing of Iran, is on an egg timer. They're gonna fire off all of their missiles pretty soon and then not be able to get new parts for their drones, their Iranian drones and all that shit. Egypt is staying out of this. You got to worry about Egypt. They're a pretty big Muslim country there. They're like, nah, we're just going to protect our border and stay out of it. What? Egypt has had basically a standing commandment that if Iran attacks, or not Iran, that if Israel attacks any Muslim nation, Israel is supposed to jump right, or Egypt is supposed to jump right in first. Not this time. Israel is attacking another Muslim nation, and Egypt is saying, nah, we're just going to sit here and nobody's coming across our borders. Don't drag us into this. That's basically what Egypt is saying. Now, that's not actively helping the way like Kuwait is and Qatar is and Oman. Although Oman has been a little bit shady in this whole thing, yet they're still not going to commit any troops to back up the Iranian cause. That's for sure. And that's another thing. Look, the bottom line is again, it's just interesting to me that I think that it's Trump's corruption, and that being the common thread among deceitful dictators all around the world, greed and corruption, that may be the thing that finally settles this hostile state in the Middle East, Iran. So whatever, look at it that way. I'm not a Trump guy, but blind squirrel. A blind squirrel gets a nut every now and again. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? Okay, so let's talk about the 3 dead American troops. Okay, so we've got casualties. Again, I can't allow myself to be triggered by everything that Trump says, but, even the topic of dead soldiers, Trump handled terribly. There's going to be more. It is what it is. It's basically, it's terrible. Terrible, they're dead. It is what it is. There's going to be more. Oh, boy. The United States military has announced on Sunday the first American casualties of President Donald Trump's intensifying attack on Iran, as a new poll showed only 1 in 4 Americans supported strikes against the Middle East. I'm one of those 4. I guess I'm one of the 1 in 4, 25%. A new poll showed only 1 in 4 Americans supported strikes against the Middle Eastern country. As the conflict entered its second day on Sunday, Trump said 48 Iranian leaders had been killed. You know how Trump is with numbers. He just made that number up. He just made that number. How many have been killed? 48. They'll ask him again in like an hour and a half, and he'll be like, how many were killed? 39. It's just fucking numbers. No, actually, it'll go up. In a couple hours, it'll be 56 were killed. It'll go in front of the nation. It'll be like 180 were killed. Numbers are bullshit. But whatever. It was effective. They took out, let's just call them the Iranian War Council. They took them all out in one fell swoop because the Israelis were ballsy enough to attack in the light of day, which they were not expecting. They were not expecting that. Pretty clever. Let's see here. 48 Iranian leaders have been killed, according to Trump, and that the United States military had started sinking Iran's navy, destroying 9 Iranian warships so far and going after the rest. Iran's retaliatory attacks also started taking their toll, although the United States military reported no casualties on Saturday. On Sunday, it said 3 U.S. troops were killed and another 5 were seriously wounded in U.S. operations against Iran. The U.S. Central Command said several other U.S. troops suffered minor shrapnel injuries and concussions as well. Excuse me. Gotta clear my throat. Still working on a cold thing because the weather can't stabilize. It's 60, it's 20, it's 65, it's 30. I'm kind of like a little backed up. I apologize. Iran's retaliatory attacks also started taking their toll, although the United States military reported no casualties on Saturday. On Sunday, it said 3 U.S. troops were killed and another 5 were seriously wounded in U.S. operations against Iran. U.S. Central Command said several other U.S. troops suffered minor shrapnel injuries and concussions. It did not disclose where or how those casualties took place. 2 U.S. officials, however, speaking on condition of anonymity, told Reuters that the United States service members were killed on a base in Kuwait. See, look at Iran is attacking other Muslim nations. This is different. This is different than everything that we were told. 2 U.S. officials speaking on conditions of anonymity told Reuters that the U.S. service members who were killed on a military base in Kuwait. Trump sought to brace the United States public for more casualties as he acknowledged the deaths, the first in major operations since he returned to office last year. The U.S. bombing of Iran's nuclear sites last June and the U.S. military seizure of Venezuela's president in January did not lead to any U.S. fatalities. All right, let's mention that. I want to go back, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but the U.S. bombing of Iran's nuclear sites last June. Do you remember this? Remember when we did it last June and we were all worried? What is this going to lead to? We bombed Iran's nuclear sites. And do you remember what the president of the United States told us last June? We have completely erased their ability to produce a nuclear weapon. That is what he told us. 100% successful, completely wiped them out. They'll never be able to have a nuclear weapon. And then people started pushing back saying, the pictures that we've got don't show the same thing that you're saying occurred. You're lying, fake news, fake news. Well, here we are. We attacked Iran because he said they were weeks away from building a bomb that could reach the continental U.S. So which is it? You can't change the story. So does that mean that you lied to us or you were wrong? It's fine. You can say you were wrong. You can say, in June of last year, when we told you that we completely stopped their ability to procure nuclear weapons, when we told you that, we were just wrong. Doesn't have to be a lie, but they won't even give us that. No, because apparently within 9 months, they were back up and running and able to procure another nuclear weapon to the point that Trump said it was going to happen in 2 weeks. And so they had to go on Friday. It's all such bullshit. Let's see. Michael Waltz, the U.S. envoy to the United Nations, said in a post on X, freedom is never free. Trump also said that America will avenge the deaths of those 3 military members and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization, Trump said. All right. This is the kind of stuff I've been watching all weekend. Here, let me show you this. We got some pretty cool video. This comes to us from Tel Aviv. I was telling you about how, you look at these skylines, right? We were looking at the Tel Aviv skyline earlier, and it's just a beautiful dark night with a nice little lit up city below it, and the sky is black, and there's nothing. There's no stars. There's no nothing. Then I told you that every once in a while, you'll start to see like a star, and you'll be like, oh, it's getting bigger. These are incoming missiles. And then you see a whole bunch of stars, and then you see the Israeli defense systems in action. Wow. Guys, I've watched probably hundreds and hundreds of missiles on live streaming TV over the last 48 hours. I've watched hundreds and hundreds of missiles come in to Israel, and I've seen one hit. I've seen one missile hit. If Iran is firing 500 missiles at a batch, and I don't know what number they're selling, but it's lots of them. They come in waves. It's pretty heart-pounding to see. You watch them, and they come in waves, and then you see all the, defense missiles come up from the ground, and you see nothing fall. You see nothing. You see no explosions on the ground. It's very rare. I do have an example of one that did get by, though. Check this out. This is in Haifa, Israel. This was on Saturday night. Check this out. We'll show you how this all right, here, this guy here. All right. So here we go. We see the skyline, right? See, look at these. See this little, is it sharing? I want to make sure that it's sharing there. Yeah, it is. Oh, it's sharing, but one of the things that is sharing, we can't see it. Because it's inside the chat. All right, there's a missile back here, right here where it says Maddie. You can see a little missile coming in over the horizon right here. There's another missile right here. This is another Iranian missile coming in. Again, this is a look at Haifa in Israel, one of the contested settlement areas. We're going to see the anti-missile barrages coming up from the ground. Watch this. This is actually pretty cool. This is the only time I've seen this happen live. All right. Actually, no. Actually, that's okay. Hold on. So that was it. See that little explosion right there? That was an anti-missile explosion. That was the Israeli blowing up an Iranian missile. So you saw that flash here. It's gonna right there. See it right there. Okay. That was an interception. Look at this fucker. This guy's gonna try and get it. All right, here we go. Here's the incoming Iranian missile. This is the Israeli interceptor. How can they stop like that? Are they controlled or are they just heat seeking? I don't. Oh, geez, it missed it. Oh, geez. All right, so you saw it, so it missed it. We'll go back. We'll show it one more time. Again, this right here, this is the anti-missile. This is the Iranian missile. Good, bad. Good needs to stop bad. Jeez. He deked him. He deked him, and now this is going to happen. And boom. There you go. That's pretty much, it's like watching a video game. That's crazy. I have to say, man, it appears to me that the Israeli All right. Sorry about that. Happens all the time. Just got a little, I don't know if it's a surge or something, but hi, Wisconsin girl. Saying hi. Gotta say hi. There we go. See you there. Hi. Mama B's here. Say hi to Mama B. We always say hi to Mama B. Hi, Mama B. Don't worry, Maddie. We'll get to you. We're going to talk to Maddie on a Monday as soon as we finish this initial thing. Mama B says, if it was regime change, it is done. He is dead. Get out. Well, no. I can't do that. That's not how it works. you gotta make sure the people you want play. Oh, we're managing this country, Mama B. That's unfortunately the reality of it. We are now the under new management and it's going to be a process. You know, remember in Iraq, we had to send Bremer in there, and Bremer was like the fake governor of Iraq for a while, and then look how well that worked out. Actually, you know, I can't really talk shit on Iraq because they haven't been a problem, have they? They haven't really been a problem. All right. Mama B's in the chat room. Maddie says, let's see. Maddie says, but let the record show he wasn't in the war room. He was in the sheet fort in Mar-a-Lago with a printed poster board from Kinko's. This is really a problem for Maddie. Maddie does not like that the war was conducted, or at least the opening salvos of the war were conducted from Mar-a-Lago. Like I said, I go, did we have a problem when it was Crawford, Texas, or Kennebunkport, Maine, or, Hyannisport? I'm pretty sure a whole lot of the Cuban Missile Crisis was managed from Hyannisport. I feel like I've seen that. Yes, man, that's it. What's that movie? 13 Days in October. 13 Days, right? There's that whole scene with Costner where they're like fucking on a sailboat in Hyannisport trying to figure out the Cuban Missile Crisis. So, I think there's plenty of things to dislike Trump for. I just don't know that this is a big one. Adam says, not the worst thing Trump has ever done because it prevented me from having Saturday morning sex. What? This is the worst thing that Trump has ever done. No, it's not. It might be the best, but okay. We can agree to disagree. We just, we can agree to disagree. Not, why we can agree to disagree? Because neither Adam or me had anything to do with this. So it's not like any of us need to apologize. Just happened. We're either like, yeah, this is probably a good thing for humanity, or, I just don't like war. Well, we are a warring people. Let's see. Here, this was a pretty shocking piece of video that I saw. Yeah, here it is. We'll watch this. We'll just go through a couple of pieces of video and then we'll get into the other stuff. Is this it? Yeah, check this out. So this is that famous ass. Where is this? This is like in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or wherever. I don't make it this places, but we all know this cool ass super billionaire hotel. This is a super billionaire hotel. It's like the most expensive hotel in the world. Well, the Iranians bombed it with a drone. And it's on fire down here. There you go. What is that? What's it called? It's called something. I don't know. There's a name to it. All right. I don't know what it's called. But anyway, we all know that cool ass building. Let's get rid of that. What else do we have here? Oh, here you go. This is pretty cool. All right. This has gone viral. Maybe you saw this. This is a United States military guy in Kuwait there. We don't have boots on the ground there in Iran, but we sure do have them next door. This is a U.S. military dude in Kuwait in the middle of all these bombings. And here he is just watching an Iranian drone bomb his truck, blows his truck up. Watch this.
That's my fucking truck. That's my fucking truck. That's my fucking truck.
All right. Well, you're hoofing it back to the base, pal. Because, yeah. All right, then we got this one. This was, I told you about the Kuwaitis, the friendly fire incident. They shot down 3 planes. This is what that looked like. You've probably seen this too, because this has pretty much been everywhere. Look at that. Whoa. Look at that. Now, so what is going on with this plane? I don't know about military planes, but doesn't seem like it should fall a lot quicker. Like, it almost looks like you could survive this. Like, I know you probably couldn't. It's like falling. It's, falling at the rate of an elevator falling, but it doesn't seem like, it's not nose diving. It's not barreling straight into the ground. Jeez. The engine is still working. Right? Even though there's nobody in it, because don't worry, our brave men and women, in this case, all men, they got out, they parachuted out. Boom. All right, there you go. That's the friendly fire incident. Now let me show you this. This is how we can feel good about that. This is one of the pilots. All the pilots are okay, although it said that some of them or all of them were in stable condition. I don't know what that means. What did they break legs? Like, stable condition, that suggests to me that there is some injury. Anyway, here you go. This was one of our soldiers who was shot down in a friendly fire incident this morning by Kuwaiti forces. It's him being found by some friendlies on the ground, and that's what you want. Friendlies.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you?
Wait, is that a woman? I just said it was all men because I thought it was all men.
No problem. You're safe. You're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us.
Oh, God, it is women. Did they do that? Did they do that on purpose? Did they just put all women pilots just to make it even more humiliating for the Iranians? I mean, this is where you find a place for our trans people, right? Our trans people in the military. We got any trans pilots? That'll really freak out the Iranians. This is great, though. This is cool. Got shot down.
You're fine? Really? You need something to help you? No problem, you're safe. You're safe, you're safe. Everything good? No problem. Thank you for helping us.
Thank you.
Everything perfect?
Thank you for helping us. Thank you for helping us. I like that. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, this I thought was interesting. I want to play this for you. So this came about Friday evening. Friday, this is so. So is this a problem? Yeah, this is a problem because this administration, from its, we're a year and like 2-3 months into it now. They've been leaky as hell. They can't seem to keep any secrets. They don't seem to be obsessed with any form of security of mission or anything. They just talk openly. They're texting bullshit in group chats. It's very unprofessional. That would be the way that they are unprofessional in the way they do the things that need to be, security needs to be the top of the line, and they just don't do that. So here, this came out on TMZ hours before the strikes. Remember, hours before. Remember, the strikes happened at 2:00 in the morning. This was Friday night. TMZ posted this. This is, who is this? Is this that lawyer guy? Who is this? Let me see. Does it say who it is? Mark Garagos. That's who it is. Yeah, it's the lawyer guy. Hold on a second. Watch this. All right, so I guess this is like what? Harvey Levin, and he does a little like, I'm going to talk to my famous friends on like Friday night or whatever. Hey, let's do a podcast where we'll live stream a conversation with some interesting person. In this case, it's Mark Garagos, famed celebrity attorney. Mark Garagos. Hold on. There you go. And this is how Doctors Without Borders. What's that? This is how Mark Garagos opens the Friday evening conversation with Harvey Levin of TMZ. Check this out.
Where are you?
Washington, D.C., Joe's Stone Crab.
Could you have picked a more crowded restaurant?
No. And in fact,
way, did
I were to tell you what I was over here.
Did you see the time? Did you see the timestamp on that? They did it on Jesus Louises. They did it on purpose. 3:45 p.m. Eastern. Okay, this was 3:45. The attack wasn't announced until 2:00 in the morning. This is earlier in Friday. Just a conversation between Mark Garagos. Mark Garagos is late to this conversation. So Harvey Levin is kind of busting his balls on, why are you late? Listen to what Mark Garagos tells him.
Where are you?
Washington, D.C., Joe's Stone Crab.
Could you have picked a more crowded restaurant?
No. And in fact, if I were to tell you what I was overhearing at the next table, you'd die.
I think I'm going to ask you that. Okay, here we go. You're in Washington, D.C. You could have gone to a million places to do a podcast where it was calm, and you choose Joe's Stone Crab.
Correct. And by the way, do you know why? Because I actually was going to leave, but the conversation that I was overhearing on the next table over was so fascinating I couldn't leave.
Oh,
so he's in Joe's Stone Crab in Washington, D.C., Mark Garagos, and he's eavesdropping on the people at the table next to him. This is 4:00 in the afternoon on Friday. The bombing and the announcement to the American people didn't take place until 2:00 in the morning, Saturday morning. So what is this? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 10 hours later?
And,
spill it. Spill it.
I think things are happening by the time this drops in Iran is what I'll leave it at that.
You're kidding me. Somebody from the government was next to you?
I'm just going to leave it at that.
No.
By the way, my meal is getting cold.
I don't
so
care. I'll buy you another meal. I'll buy you
results.
another meal. What did they say?
that today is the day. Friday is we're sitting here.
Are you serious?
I literally just heard it at the next table. So I'll leave it at that.
Holy crap.
It's wild. It's wild where the times we're living in.
Oh my God.
I'll see you next week, Harvey. Thank you.
Bye, Mark.
All right. It is wild the times we're living in. You know what he meant by that? What he meant was that I could get this kind of super secure information while just having a drink at Joe's Stone Crab in DC, because these fucking idiots, they have no loyalty to security. Nothing is a secret. It's just, casually over beers on a Friday talking about what's going to happen. It's just, these dick tripping fools. All right, let's see. Is there anything else? Of course, there's always the there's endless video and endless posts over the years of Trump promising that if you vote for Obama, he's going to get us into a war with Iran. He promised that Kamala Harris, if you vote for her, she's going to get us into a war with Iran. This guy was thinking about war with Iran the entire time, and it's called projection. You put what you're thinking and what you know is a really bad thing about you, and before anybody can say it about you, you project it onto somebody else. It's called projection, and it's what he does, and you people fell for it. Now, me, I hate the guy, but I actually am good with this. I'm actually good with this. Now, we'll see how he handles it. I don't know that he's got a plan. I understand that the reason a lot of other people didn't want to do this, even though I've wanted every president to do this since I'm 10 years old, I know that other presidents probably had a reason for not doing it. How do you get out? What's the exit strategy? Is this a long-term thing? That's probably why they didn't do it. Maybe Trump's got a plan. Maybe he doesn't. Right now, I'm hoping that he does, and I'm liking the way it started. The death of Ayatollah Khomeini. Yeah, they got him. And by the way, when they announced that they had killed the Ayatollah, I didn't believe it. Not at all. Like, yeah, whatever. Oh, and by the way, this is a little thing we'll do at the end of the show today. So the Ayatollah Khomeini has died. Woo-hoo! Let's get into the death trilogy. Let's see who Ayatollah. He's already got one roommate. Let's see. We are 2/3 through the Ayatollah Khomeini's death trilogy, and it's an interesting one. The guy that he's got to live with. I'm just saying. So we'll do the accounting. We'll do the death accounting on that. But also, I've got a special treat for you. I thought to myself, boy, if we're going to talk about who's going in the Ayatollah Khomeini's death trilogy, wouldn't it be interesting to see who are in some of the other bad guys' death trilogies, right? Like, for instance, who's in Osama bin Laden's death trilogy? Who's living in heaven? What celebrities are living in heaven in a 3-bedroom condo in the celebrity wing of heaven? Who's living with Osama bin Laden? I did the death math. I got it. I got that death trilogy. Also, how about Saddam Hussein? Who's living with Saddam Hussein? I'll give you that death trilogy at the end of the show today. And I run it out with it because it's always good to do things in threes. Muammar Gaddafi. Who is in Muammar Gaddafi's death trilogy? And I promise you, and I'll tease you this, one of those dudes has an all-time banging death trilogy group. It's just a good group. There are some very, very, very big names who are with those 3 guys. And we'll do that at the end of the show. All right, let's see here. What's the last thing that we can do here? I don't need to play any hot mix. I got a video here of just 7 minutes long of different posts where Trump is claiming that different Democrats will get us in a war with Iran, and then different sound bites of him blaming everybody as being, if you vote for them, they'll get you in a war with Iran. But we don't need to play that because we know the man has no integrity. Real quick, though, let's talk about the draft, okay? I want to get into this. We'll talk about, because I've got a 16-year-old son. I told you that my son is not qualified for the draft. He was already sketchy for the draft because he's the whole sole surviving son thing. He is the last person in our family with his last name. He is the last, so you can make a case. You got to get a lawyer for that now. You used to be able to just claim it, and they were like, okay, but now it's an extra thing where you got to get a lawyer and you got to present your case. But anyway, worst case scenario, we could use that with him because I don't have any brothers. There are no other wings of my family in the last name that are going on. No, it's just, it dies with me. I had a male heir, and so now it dies with him. So, however, that isn't lock solid. He does have a medical condition that I just found out this morning will make it so that they can't take it. He has a medical condition that we've never talked about because, he's a healthy, big, robust boy, and he's, football player and power lifter and all that stuff. But he's got to take his medicine. You got to take his medicine, and he's got to take his shots and all that stuff. And look at this. Look at this. So, who is eligible? Well, everybody else. Everybody else. Who's not eligible though? Baron Trump apparently, and Yair Netanyahu. Yair Netanyahu is the son of Benjamin Netanyahu. In Israel, every young man and woman, doesn't matter. It's not necessarily a draft. It's like a military service kind of a thing. If you are an Israeli teenager, you know that you will spend like 2 years or whatever in the Israeli military. Wonder Woman had to go to the Israeli military. Wonder Woman, what's her name? Gal Gadot. Yeah, grew up in Israel, had to spend 2 years. I think is it like 18 to 20, and then you can go to college or something like that. I'm not even sure if it's 2 years, but you must serve in Israel. Interestingly enough, that burden didn't fall onto Benjamin Netanyahu's oldest son or youngest son or whatever the case may be. Yair Netanyahu is, how old is Yair? I don't have how old he is. He runs a club in Miami. He lives safely in Miami. That's why he's not the son of... What are they just okay with it over there? I mean, obviously they're not, because anybody who knows about Israeli politics knows that the rank and file Israeli citizen has thought that Benjamin Netanyahu was an incredible con man, corrupt, criminal, all of that stuff. So it's probably, very common knowledge to them there that young Yair is out running a dance club in Miami while all of their children have to go to these wars. So Yair, I guess, is going to be okay. There is a story today that says that Baron Trump might be too tall. There's a story today that says Baron Trump might be too tall to join the military or be drafted. Apparently he can join if he wants. But, and would you believe, these are some new regulations that were changed under Department of War Chief Pete Hegseth. You can't be over 6'3". Apparently 6'3" is pretty much, if you're higher than that, you can join. But if you get drafted and you're 6'4" and you say, I don't want to be drafted now because of these new regulations. So isn't that interesting that Trump had himself a gigantic son and now suddenly the military won't take gigantic sons? Baron Trump might be too tall. Not to mention the bone spurs. Not to mention that. He's like 6'6", something. Hold on, let's find this out for sure. How tall is Baron Trump? Oh, yeah, he's out. I think that's what it is. I think it's 6'6". I think you can't be drafted if you're taller than 6'6", and Baron Trump is 6'9". 6'9", and he doesn't even play basketball. That's how you know he's a rich kid. He didn't feel compelled to learn how to play basketball to make money in life. He's just a rich kid. 6'9". He's too tall to go. That's funny to me. Okay, but how about the rest of us? It says here, while the U.S. hasn't implemented a military draft since 1973, all men are still legally obligated to register for selective service within 30 days of their 18th birthday. Don't believe it. Nothing happened. Nothing ever happened. I still got jury duty notices. I got my driver's license. Nothing ever happened. Okay, I didn't do it. Now, maybe you want to. I was being a bit obstinate by not doing it. I knew exactly the risk I was taking. I didn't believe it was much of a risk, though. Everybody else, you better go, man. No, I'm not gonna. The FBI is gonna arrest you. No, they're not. Secret Service is gonna come to your house. No, they're not. Why? What? No, it's not real. Would you use your head when you make these threats? The Secret Service and the FBI is not going to come to every house of 18-year-old boys who failed to register within the 30 days. I will probably get a year worth of letters in the mail first before anybody shows up. So just shut up. Okay, so here's what it is. It says failure to register within those 30 days is classified as a felony and can result in being denied access to student loans. Nope, I got student loans. Federal jobs. Never wanted a federal job, but I was warned I'd never work for the post office. It also says here you can get fines reaching $250,000 and up to 5 years in prison for not registering within 30 days of... Stop it. The selective service system currently only applies to men between the ages of 18 and 25. Whoa, hashtag me too. What? Hashtag me too. We're going to need to change that. Why is this only a man thing? What is this, 1973? It says here, selective service currently only applies to men between the ages of 18 and 25. Anyone falling outside that age range wouldn't be required to register unless the law was changed. Easily enough done, I would argue. Medical and disability exemptions also exist. Yeah, don't I know it? Don't I know it? I cross-referenced and I went and I was looking for the specific thing and there it was and I went, bingo, bingo. I ain't sending my kid to go die in any stupid war, even though it is one that I'm all for. When I said I was all for regime change, I don't know, in my head, I imagined bombs falling from the sky and then just like, Star Wars Clone Wars type robots, just go, I am not committing any American troops. I'm not a boots on the ground guy. I say that we level the place, with death from above, and then we empower somebody. I don't know, Saudi Arabia, one of our friends there, certainly not Israel, but one of our friends there to go in and clean everything up. That's how I see it. It says medical and disability exemptions exist. People with significant medical or psychological conditions are generally deemed unfit for service and are typically excluded during the draft evaluation process. So, parents, here's what you need. Seriously, parents, okay? I'm not kidding, parents. If you want your kid to, be able to get out of this thing, they just told you right here, certain types of mental health disorders. Get your kid in therapy. Get your kid in therapy right now. If you are worried, just call up it's free. Call the county, say, I need a therapist, and then have your kid go in there and be like, I don't want to live. I hate this, blah, blah, blah. Get on paper a diagnosis of depression, and guess what? It won't take them. It won't take them. See? Therapy is important. Get your kid to be diagnosed by a therapist as having something significant or borderline something. They won't take a chance. There you go. It says here, medical and disability exemptions exist. People with significant medical or psychological conditions are generally deemed unfit for service and are typically excluded during the draft evaluation process. According to military.com, certain medical conditions such as asthma, it's a big one, diabetes, well, that's gonna, that's the fun one. You can get out of the military just by eating donuts. All right, you think a draft's coming? Just start existing on donuts for like a month. Eat nothing but donuts. Get yourself a quick diabetes diagnosis. There you go. You can beat it that way. Certain types of mental health disorders, heart problems. Well, I can't be drafted. I'm an old man anyway. Heart problems can disqualify individuals from joining the military due to the physical and mental demands of service. But even when someone isn't completely exempt, such conditions might result in them being ranked lower in the draft priority. Is it like a bone spurs thing? Because bone spurs seems like the thing that'll make your quarterback miss a couple of weeks. That's it. Bone spurs don't seem so serious, right? I don't know. I guess I don't know what bone spurs are. Is it like turf toe? I think that's kind of what it is. Those serving, here are some other people. Even when someone isn't completely exempt, such conditions might result them from being ranked lower in the draft priority. Those serving as full-time caregivers have historically been exempt. if they're the sole provider for someone experiencing hardship. Got a sick mom, got a sick dad, got a sick aunt. Well, if you got a sick aunt, it's time for you to step up and go, I'm going to take care of Aunt Marcy now. Just do it. It's a way to get out of it. Find yourself being drafted. Besides, Aunt Marcy's always been cool. You just got that spare bedroom there. You could live there. There are worse things. Taking care of Aunt Marcy while the rest of your friends go off and fight some crazy war that should be fought by robots, AI, and drones. But whatever. Those serving as full-time caregivers have historically been exempt if they're the sole provider for someone experiencing hardship. Incarcerated individuals are also ineligible for the draft. Well, now there's one that we ought to change, right? Because I'm not saying that we let, the worst of the worst, we're not going to just put Hannibal Lecter out there because he might be more problems than he's worth. I don't know that he's going to be able to be directed towards the enemy and not just eat his buddy. But, there's a lot of people in jail for bullshit things. Coke dealers, guys who got caught with, weed 3 times in Michigan. There's a lot of people in prison that you could say, hey, you want to go fight in a war? You go fight in a war, we'll commute your sentence. Why not? Also, it goes on to say here that women under existing regulations are exempt. Men would be the first called up in the event of a World War III draft, as women continue to be exempt. Hashtag me too. That's some bullshit. I was kind of surprised by that. I mean, not surprised because I knew that there hadn't been any real changes or movement in the draft my entire life. But I was when it dawned on me that, oh yeah, that is sort of a 1970s way of looking at it. They probably didn't have women. Women were what, nurses in the Korean War? I mean, that's all I know about the Korean War is MASH. And not even the TV show, just the movie. That's all I know about Korea. About Vietnam, there weren't female combat soldiers in Vietnam. I don't think women were allowed to be combat soldiers until like 6 weeks ago. Those serving as full-time caregivers, we covered that. Women under existing regulations, men would be the first called up in the event of a draft, as women continue to be exempt, despite being allowed to serve in combat positions since 2013. There you go. Women are still not obligated to register for selective service, however. Well, change that, right? We're gonna change that. Aren't we being way more, conscious and thoughtful about gender roles and about how, gender can be whatever? No, I know that's not this administration calling the shots, but, we're supposed to be, shouldn't women be subject to selective service requirements in the same way that boys are in 2026? Can a woman do everything that a boy can do other than be the world's fastest person or powerlifting champion? Seriously, those are the 2 things that women can't do. A woman can do anything. A woman will never lift more weight than anyone else on the planet. It will always be a man. Always. I'm just sorry. Those are facts. Second could be a woman. There could be some anomaly out there in a bunch of years where there's some Viking chick who's the second. But number 1 is always going to be a man. It's always going to be a man. It's just God didn't fool around there. The law specifically identifies, the selective service law specifically identifies male persons as those required to register. Though there have been conversations about modifying this requirement, any such change would need congressional approval. Men holding strong religious or moral convictions may seek conscientious objector designation. That's like Muhammad Ali. Yellow man ain't done nothing to me. Or whatever it was that Ali said. Men holding strong religious or moral convictions may seek conscientious objector designation should a draft be implemented. This might lead to assignment in non-combat capacities or placement later in the deployment sequence. All right. There you have it. Yeah. Again, shouldn't we be further along in the robot warrior department? Let's check in one more time on the skyline here. Let's see what's happening in Tel Aviv. All right, let's see. Did I hear sirens? I thought I heard sirens. I don't have the sound up on this. Oh, that's the problem. There's no sound. Oh, I did have the sound up. They just turned the sound off. Hold on. This view for like a bunch of days, and I really want to know who lives here. You see this right here in the middle of this? Whoever is living there, this is some cool, it's definitely a cool ass place. Look at it with giant windows like that, beautiful skyline. This is a cool ass place here in Tel Aviv that this person is living. It's a pretty big apartment with a nice deck here. How do I know it's a nice deck here? Because there were people on that deck yesterday just walking around. And I'm like, who are these people living their life like there isn't the prospect of bombs falling from the sky at any minute? Having a nice Sunday out there on the deck. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We'll leave this up. We're looking for little things in the sky, and we're listening for the siren. Siren will tell us when something's happening. We're going to take a quick break again. I'm going to redo my coffee. I'm going to go to the bathroom. On the other side of this, we're going to have Maddie. She's got thoughts on this. It's Maddie on a Monday. She's got thoughts on this. She's got breaking news on Shia LaBeouf and a whole bunch more. We'll do that on the other side of this. Just give me a couple of minutes. All right. There you go. Back after this. All right. We're back. Nothing happening there. Barney in the chat room, he had this thought regarding my refusal or my project. You just wanted to see what would happen if I didn't register for the draft. Barney suggests I'm betting your mom set it in for you. Oh, Barney. Oh, you don't know my mom. No, my mom was basically a member of the Weather Underground, Barney. She was. Trust me when I tell you. That didn't happen. Also, let's see here. Maddie with a big question. Maddie, Maddie, she just texted me. She's ready. Hold on, we're going to call you in a second. Maddie did have a good question here, and we'll address this here as I get her up. Okay, hold on. All right. Maddie asked the question, why would Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein be in the condo in heaven? Wouldn't they be in the trailer park in hell? That's pretty good, Maddie. Are you there? Oh, hold on. Wait a second. I don't have you turned up. All right, are you there? Nope. Hold on. I got a lot of stuff going on. Hold on. Let me turn off some of these. There we go. Gotta close on. I got so many stupid windows open. I mean, do I really need a window open that tells me that it is currently 10:05 in Israel? I don't think so. So we're gonna close that. No, not at all. You're not coming through. Hold on. Keep talking. I need you to count to 10. Oh, I had you plugged into the wrong thing. Sorry, guys. That was my fault. Here she is. Say hi, Maddie.
Hello.
There we go. All right.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you brought me up with that because I love to present philosophical things when I get thrown in, but I have to urgently disagree. I do not think that we're going with the Ayatollah going to the condo in heaven. He does not. He goes to the trailer park in hell.
Yeah, see. All right. So look, it's a fair question. It's a fair point. Something that I would have wondered about as well. Except, see, here's the deal. God is a big old star fucker. God loves celebrities. If you are famous, he wants to have you around. And it doesn't matter if you are bad. Hell, Genghis Khan is up there in heaven. Napoleon is up there in heaven. Hitler is even up there in heaven. So I know that it looks bad, but once you reach a level of celebrity, God just wants to have you in his entourage. That's just how he rolls.
No. Now you're just talking about Trump.
Well, very similar. That's true. Very similar in the way they...
Trump likes to be famous adjacent, but we would have to throw out the entire religious ideology of anything that we think about the difference between good and bad, evil and Christian, and that completely flies in the face of God. Right?
Whatever you think God is, that's a moving goalpost. All right, let's talk about what is really important to us. You are our Louisiana correspondent. You're also our Mayhem correspondent.
Fuck the war. Let's talk about Shia LaBeouf.
Let's talk about Shia LaBeouf because you've been tracking him down there. We thought, at least I did, I thought he was just in Louisiana for, a couple of days because of the whole Mardi Gras thing.
You missed the whole part where he bought a house?
Well, I mean, now I remember that you said that. So this isn't just him going on a bender for a weekend in the city.
He's an official Louisiana resident, baby. He bought $1 million house in Uptown.
All right, so catch us up on frame this whole story and then tell us where we are. The latest on Shia LaBeouf and the chaos that he's wreaking there in New Orleans.
Okay, so last year, after his split with Mia Goth, he didn't just come here for a extended visit. He did not just come here for the Mardi Gras celebrity stuff. He bought a house. He got away. He said that he has family and friends here, and he bought a residence, and he moved to Louisiana. I mean, I'm sure he owns more than one thing, right? I mean, I can't speak to how much real estate property he owns, but he bought a house in Louisiana, in New Orleans specifically. Yes.
Well, here, hold on. Let's find out here, because I'm interested in his net worth. Let's see what his posted net worth is as of right now.
I mean, it's got to be significant. I mean, he was in
What do you think?
the Transformer stuff. He did the Even Stevens stuff, and then of course we've always talked about his more indie movie stuff. But I mean, come on. I mean,
well, hold on now. Let me stop you there. As a wily old veteran of the entertainment business, he never got his free agent paycheck. All of those things that you just mentioned were deals brokered when he was a child. He probably got nothing from Even Stevens other than I bet he didn't get any back end, no ownership, nothing. And as far as the Transformer movies, he was basically an unknown kid actor. He wouldn't have gotten like what Wahlberg got, which was back end points. So knowing all of that, he has had a successful career as an actor. He's probably made a couple $1 million for each film. How much do you think he's worth?
Net worth. Okay, let me posit a figure here. In Hollywood terms, we would call it big money, but let's say he's worth $10 million.
10 million. It says here, as of early 2026, Shia LaBeouf's estimated net worth is approximately $20 to $25 million.
Okay. So I mean, that's big money to the rest of us peons. In Hollywood money, is he big money?
No.
No.
That is a total, judging by the fact that he has been in blockbusters, the Transformer movies. That is a total that tells us he absolutely didn't get back end money. If he had back end money, he'd be at like 150
Somebody
million.
wasn't negotiating it for him for sure. And I'm sure Dad, the famous clown was probably part of this. It's the same story we've heard. It's the Macaulay Culkin story. It was the back in the day. Oh, what was that little kid that I trying not to sound racist here. The black kid, the Emmanuel Lewis, Emmanuel Lewis story. The praying parent who takes all the stuff and they don't get anything from it.
So here, let me give you a comparison. Another guy that was in the Transformer movies who was a bigger star, a grown-up star at the time, Shia LaBeouf, $20 million, estimated net worth. Mark Wahlberg, how much do you think Mark Wahlberg is worth?
Oh, Mark Wahlberg is way more money, right? $100 million.
$400 million is what Mark Wahlberg is worth.
Mark has had music money. Mark also has brothers who are way more famous, who have leveraged their fame. Mark Wahlberg was the face of Calvin Klein, the underwear thing. Remember?
The Funky Bunch. He's in the Funky Bunch, for crying out loud.
Bunch. Yeah, he's brother to the other Wahlberg from the New Kids on the Block. They have a famous burger place, the Wahlburgers. So, I mean, smarter.
All right, let's get back on track. So we're looking at pictures. I don't know if you can see the screen. We're looking at pictures from Shia LaBeouf's first arrest. So what did he get arrested for? Bring us back up to speed on Shia LaBeouf and what he's doing.
So he did his thing out in Mardi Gras. He assaulted multiple people. So now what has happened is that another person, I'm going to assume another person, went to the police and said, "Hey, he hit me too, damn it." And so they issued another warrant first arrest based off the same incident, but because it was multiple people. And so he went and self-reported. He showed up, paid his now $5,000 fine. He's back on the streets. But I have a funny take on this. I think that New Orleans has figured out a problem for their potholes.
Okay. All right. So do tell.
Yeah. So I sent you several pictures on Facebook. This is common lore amongst New Orleanian residents. We have a very serious pothole problem in the city of New Orleans. It is a meme-worthy thing. There's actually what I sent you pictures from on Facebook. If you want to pull up some of those, they're really funny. That is from a local page called "Look at This Fucking Street."
Okay.
And the citizens of New Orleans have just we always have had a funny take on this. We decorate our potholes. We have an altar to a couple of potholes. I sent you several pictures there.
Oh,
yeah, that's an altar with its own
Christmas
candle
tree or whatever.
That's the first one. If you go back, it's an altar to a pothole, and it's from the pothole queen of New Orleans, Marie LaHole, instead of Marie LaVeaux. But yeah, we get creative. There's one there. Did you see Epstein files buried here?
No, hold on. Wait, let me keep looking. Hold on. I'm sorry. What is this one? This one does not say. I'm just flipping through, so I can't.
Yeah, that's in generally just decorated one. But if you
there
scroll
it
back
is.
a little.
Epstein files buried here.
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
So the pothole situation in New Orleans has often been talked about. We never seem to get ahead of it. They are significant. They will mess up your car. They will definitely send you to go get your suspension checked on a regular basis. They will sacrifice your tires. They get filled with water quite often, which means that you have difficulty in judging the depth of said pothole. So you have to be very cautious about that. And so I came up with a funny take on this over the weekend, since he went on a podcast with Andrew Callahan.
Yeah, I've got that here. You want me to play it? Here is you talking about LaBouffe explaining?
Yeah, and so then several hours later, then he showed up for his now second charge of assault, battery, whatever. But yeah, play us a little something. I thought it was weird. I thought it was super weird. I thought it sounded pretty I don't know.
So who's this guy whose podcast he was?
Andrew Callahan. So Andrew Callahan is a pretty famous little podcaster. He went to Loyola University. He's not originally from New Orleans, but I think he calls New Orleans his home now. He's got 3.5 million followers. He talks about a lot of conspiracy theory type stuff. He leans into it a little bit, but he always has kind of a funny take.
Does he present as an underage girl? Because that seems to be the only way you can get 3.5 million followers.
No, he doesn't.
No.
He's just a quirky dude. Dude. I don't think he's Alex Jones weird, but he kind of, he talks about a lot of different stuff. And so I guess because he's a local Louisiana fame, he's obviously injected his fame now with the Shia LaBeouf thing, and Shia spent some time with him and talked about his substance abuse. He talked about his first brush with the New Orleans law. And
all right, let's listen to it. Here we go.
I don't think I have a drinking problem. I think I have a small man complex, some kind of Napoleonic. I don't know what it is. I think it's something that has to do with anger and ego more so than my drinking. Gay people are scary to me. What do you mean? When I'm like standing by myself and 3 gay dudes are next to me touching my leg, I get scared. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. If that's homophobic, then I'm that.
Yeah. Does that happen a lot?
No, it just happened one time.
Recently?
Well, that's why I got arrested. I am.
First of all, just let me stop for a second. I love the host. Look at the side eye that the host gives to the camera. Like, can you believe what he's saying? Watch. Look at it.
Am wrong.
Oh, there it is.
Why I got arrested. I
side eye. There it is.
am wrong for touching anyone ever, and that's the end of my statement on this whole.
All right, there you have it. Shia LaBeouf explaining himself. Thoughts?
Yeah, he says, I don't have a substance abuse problem. I have self-diagnosed little man syndrome. I mean, which is not a diagnosis. That is a socially acceptable. I looked it up. It is a stereotype. It is a persistent stereotype. I think that you and I've talked about this a bunch, especially on the air, about we do think he has a substance abuse problem.
Of course.
Probably with some underlying, like you said, father issues, daddy issues.
He was
mother
terribly
issues.
abused as a child. He was raised in the worst way imaginable. Yeah. So I mean, he's got a right to claim any kind of problems because the adults in his life when he was a child failed him miserably. I do believe that little man syndrome, it's a stereotype, but it is a very real emotional and confidence condition for men. It's a very real thing. Men who are smaller,
let's call it what it is.
Narcissism or just a drive for being driven to overcompensate for something that you see is making you less than your male competition. It's a very real psychological thing. I don't know what the condition would be called, but I don't think you can just
low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, masculinity, toxic masculinity, rage issues. I think it presents in a lot of different ways. Is it a real diagnoses that he could lean into to avoid the idea of his substance abuse? Nah.
Well, I think it's a contributing factor. I mean, I think that he's fucked up. And let me just say about that little thing we just listened to. I love that. What? You can't be mad at that. He is just sitting there telling you the exact truth. He's wearing it on his sleeve. I suck. I got little man syndrome. That is something, no man, that's vulnerability, Maddie. No man will admit that. I know he's in trouble and he's trying to explain it away and he might be in some way trying to save his career or whatever, by being mea culpa, if you will. But the other thing that I thought was interesting I wanted to talk to you about was the homophobe thing.
Homophobia. Yeah, I know. Which look like... He copped to it.
Yeah.
He said he's scared of gay people.
And
when he's surrounded by larger men, which I guess is the little man syndrome thing, who were quote unquote touching his leg, no reported incidents of anybody touching his leg, but he said what he said, that he's scared. And if that is what is homophobia is, then that is what he is.
I appreciate that. I appreciate him breaking it down. Yes, it is honest. We are not required to like the honesty. But if you're going to give me honesty, thank you. I appreciate that. I may still think less of you, but at least you're not making excuses or blaming it on other people, even though this is kind of him trying to say, I'm not a thug who gets drunk and acts like a hooligan. I had a motivation for this, and it's because I'm afraid of gay people because I'm a small man. And I imagine, look, you don't think that powerful gay men were fucking hitting on him in Hollywood when he was 16? I mean, I bet you he's got a real claim to say, I've been in positions that have made me very uncomfortable throughout my life. And if you know anything about the way I was raised, you know that I don't have the toolbox to handle those things. So, I mean, I feel bad for him. I really do. And
I'm going to present an unpopular opinion here. Here's what I'm going to say. It's maybe unpopular, but I'm willing to say this. I think that in society, we have gotten very comfortable with labeling people as something based off of their reaction to something that has happened. And I would say, I don't think that we should call somebody who's uncomfortable with being hit on, let's say, being flirted with as immediately homophobic. I think that's unfair. I think that homophobia is a much more specific thing.
Right. It's a dislike of people who have that choice or that orientation. I shouldn't say choice because that's a terrible way to put it.
Yeah.
But if you just hate someone simply because they're gay, that's homophobia. But
correct.
I don't think it's the same thing at all. And also, here's the way he explained it there. You can want the gotcha moment. Homophobic. He admitted it. Oh, we hate homo. Or you can listen to it in context and then this is where I went. I went with this. Why do we find it completely acceptable for women to feel endangered in every minute? Aziz Ansari's entire fucking career was almost tanked because he put a move on a girl he went on a date with. I mean, absurd levels.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I was going to liken it to the idea that a white woman would be racist if she turns down the advances of a black man.
Oh,
right?
I disagree. I think that white woman is justified. It doesn't matter the color because she's a woman and she's constantly on the verge of being victimized by an evil man.
Simply not being attracted to someone does not mean that they are some sort of racial or homophobe.
Very well said.
It's not okay to call people that. I think that any man, any straight man who would say no thank you to the advances of a gay man is well within their right to say that. I think that every woman who would turn down the advances of any man, whether they be of some sort of racial or ethnicity or religious ethnicity, is well within their right to say that. I think it is really wrong for society to label those people racist or homophobic because they're not comfortable with it. Now, here's what I will also caveat that with. But if you are angry or hate-filled towards a group of people simply because of who they are, then that is what that is. If you simply just hate people for being gay and their mere presence in your vicinity causes you to act out in a certain way. If what was in fact happening at Mardi Gras was that he was around some gay people, let's just face it, New Orleans is full of gay people and gay pride is very evident in our culture. If you walked into a gay bar and started fighting gay people for the fact that they are gay, then yes, you are homophobic. Okay. But I don't know that that's what was happening. If they were hitting on him or making advances on him or touching him and he was uncomfortable with that and he was defending himself, I don't call that homophobia.
See, and I say this. All of these conversations surrounding the incidents that Shia LaBeouf found himself in are null and void because what we know is he was shit-faced intoxicated. So it doesn't matter what his motivations were. Were he sober? He was just drunk with a history of obvious mental illness. That's what's going on here. Should anyone think that he is a homophobe? No, he's a Hollywood actor. He's probably got more gay friends than anybody. You know, I mean, it's a reality
Maybe not.
of his
That he's
existence.
uncomfortable around him, and maybe he has shied away from that, and maybe that comes from some experience he had as a child that we are unaware of.
I just think that the situation that he described, if it was a woman describing it, we'd all rally and be like, yes, yes, you had a right to be fearful. But a little man, and he is a little man, and he's a sexy Hollywood actor, I could see him being hit on and being made to feel uncomfortable. What you said was it's homophobia if you're motivated by hate. He explicitly said he was motivated by fear. And those are two completely different motivators.
Sure. Look, as a woman, as a white woman, have I been in a closed environment with someone that caused me fear before? Absolutely. Has maybe that person been of a different ethno race than me? Absolutely. Does that mean that I hate those people?
No.
It does not. It means that I have perceived something about them that caused me alarm and I reacted in that way. Did I hit them? No. Did I maybe move further across the room? Maybe. Did I maybe clutch my purse or whatever people are calling, these sorts of actions and how you react to that? Oh, look at her. She's walking across the street because she's scared of black men. You know what? There are too many horrible things that happen to women in general. I have walked across the street for many more reasons than just somebody being black, I can assure you. I can assure you. I mean, men in general are terrifying.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago. I lock my doors and roll up my windows through every intersection. I mean, it just doesn't make me racist. It makes me someone who grew up in an area who knows where the criminals are. That's all. All right,
I've seen some shit.
I want to bring one thing back before we wrap up. You were showing us your little New Orleans, the proud New Orleans tradition of glorifying potholes. First of all, I would say why do you have potholes in New Orleans? What you don't have weather the way we have. New York has potholes. Chicago has potholes. We do a good job of cleaning them up, though. We don't have a terrible pothole problem here. But why
do we have potholes?
Yeah, you're the same climate
Multiple reasons.
What?
Well, okay. So first of all, New Orleans is a bowl. It is under sea level. So we are built on what I would call shaky ground to begin with. The soil composition underneath New Orleans is that of like a riverbed. It is silty. It is not
I'm going to
hard
stop you.
ground.
I'm going to stop you because what you are describing is Chicago. Do you know that Chicago and New Orleans are built on the exact same thing? Chicago is built on a floodplain swamp. It used to be Lake Chicago before it all dried up. But yeah, we're a swamp. Yeah, you're a swamp,
but also,
and
we
we're
have
a swamp.
The most corrupt city government.
Yeah, well, so do we.
Yeah, an incredibly corrupt city government, and we have misappropriated funds. But honestly, if you want honest opinion, here's the reason why New Orleans city roads and the state in general has some of the shittiest infrastructure in the world is because back in the early 90s, there was an initiative by the federal government to have all of the large populous areas to change their drinking age from 18 to 21. And New Orleans, in its brilliance, because we are a city formulated in tourism and we have always been very pro-drinking, we said, no, thank you, we do not. And the initiative was led by, hey, we will inject X amount of millions of dollars, which would be billions by today's category. But yes, in those times, millions was big money. And you will get to use this to upgrade all of your road infrastructure. And we said, no, thank you.
No, thanks.
We would much rather have our tourism intact because people come to New Orleans to party, and we need our 18-year-olds to fill our bars and clubs and buy our liquor. And then 2 or 3 years later, it was passed unilaterally, and we were forced to just go ahead and join it anyway. And we missed out on the millions and billions of dollars. So we're behind that. We got behind the 8 ball on that deal because our state and city government is incredibly corrupt. And we also have a bunch of really shitty contractors and a bunch of shitty people who routinely take money in order to provide services of this sort, who aren't very good at their job, and they use the shittiest possible materials.
When are you running for local office? I got you. It's just a simple question. I do want to show you something, though, because that was funny what you guys do down there with your potholes. Let me show you. So are you familiar with the term dibs? It's a Chicago tradition. Do you know what dibs are in the context of the Chicago tradition? Okay, so dibs, here in Chicago, we have terrible, terrible snowstorms, right? And that affects parking really bad. So what we do here in Chicago is we dig out our spot in front of our house. We dig out our spot. And that means no one else can park because we woke up early and we dug the spot out. Now, unfortunately, throughout the course of the day, people might take advantage of that and just park in the spot that you shoveled out. So we have to do a process called dibs in Chicago. It is literally, I'm not kidding you, it is enforced by the cops. It is not a real law, but if you call a cop because of a dibs dispute, they will come out and they will settle it. Now, what is dibs? I'm going to show you. Dibs is creating structures, temporary structures in the parking space that you have already cleared out. It almost always concerns folding dining tables or bureaus or flat screen TVs that are broken.
Like patio chairs or something. They throw a little chair out there.
Well, that's the lesser ones. Let me show you some pictures of some of the more extravagant dibs situations that we've had here in Chicago. Let's see. We'll scroll through it. Okay, this is, I guess, just a general picture of what the cars look like when they're covered. All right, there you go. This dibs is, are you looking at it? This is an easy one. This is just a little kid's toy car parked there. And by the way, if you pull up in a neighborhood and take someone's spot, other neighbors see you, they will fight you. They will defend it's a community thing. They will defend their neighbor's spot. Here's a store that literally sells dib chairs, like just bullshit $5 dib chairs. Well, we'll see.
It's a whole business.
It's a thing. It's a tradition that goes back years. Here's some dibs. Here's some chairs. You see more people. Sometimes people use cones. Little basketball hoop. Here, Jesus is on the scene. Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Jesus saying, stop. You cannot park here. I love the Jesus. All right, there you go. All right, and on that,
Yeah,
Ed
we
has.
don't have good there. We don't. Well, parking is not really so much a problem. I mean, we all have parking spots or driveways of some sort.
Well, you don't
I mean,
have 5 foot of snow overnight. That's what you don't have. You would have this problem if you were.
We have craters in our streets the size of cars, and if you misjudge that, you might lose your entire car inside said pothole. But we don't have a parking issue in that way. Would you mind if I segue into the Elijah Ullman story?
All right, you get real quick. We are way behind. I was wrapping this up, but go ahead. What do you know about Elijah Blue? Hold on. Elijah Blue Ullman is the son of Cher and Greg Ullman of the Ullman brothers. Elijah Blue Ullman is the half brother of Chastity Bono. Okay, go. Tell us about Elijah.
Well, and the reason why I wanted to bring this story up, because like I said, I mean, celebrities or son of celebrities in crisis aren't unusual, but I am so weirded out by this entire story because he is 49 years old and apparently got arrested a couple of days ago for showing up at a private high school and threatening, terrorizing. He got 3 misdemeanor counts. What the hell was he doing at the high school?
I don't even know this story. Again, this is the son of Greg Ullman, Greg Ullman, and Cher. Does he have a relationship with his mother? I know his father's dead.
Well, and funny enough, because it ties back into the Britney Spears thing, I'll read a little bit of this story since you don't have it. But so basically, he was arrested on Friday after he was acting belligerently at a New Hampshire private high school. This is your son, Elijah Ullman, 49. He was arrested and charged with 4 misdemeanors, 2 counts of simple assault, criminal trespass, and criminal threatening. Charged with violation of disorderly conduct, which is not considered a crime in the state, blah, blah, blah. The Concord police responded. It was 7 p.m. He was causing a disturbance in the dining hall at this random prep school. No notice of any, like, his kids were there. So I don't even know if he has kids. And then it goes on to say, of course, he does have a drug problem. He is in a conservatorship right now with Cher that he is upset about. He says he has no business taking care of his money. He's also kind of on that same track of, like, hey, yeah, I do some drugs here and there, but I don't have a problem.
So we're looking at a picture of him and Cher right here on the screen. He looks drugged out here. Look at his eyes.
Yeah. And he does not appreciate her unsolicited help at this time, but basically just showed up at this random private school and started some trouble in the dining hall.
Hold on, look at this picture of him here in May of 2025. If you just make his hair longer, he looks exactly like his dad.
Oh,
look at this. Holy cow. He looks good here. I mean, he's a good-looking boy. I mean, okay.
What is going on? I mean, why is he threatening up this high school?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about that story, but I will certainly be looking into it. All right, Maddie, thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's Maddie. She joins us a couple of times throughout the week with her view on things. Today, it was Maddie on a Monday. Thank you, Maddie. All right, here's what we need to do. I need to take a quick break because we got more stuff to talk about. The show can't just all be about war. We've got fun stuff that we've got to get into. We've got to figure out, right, who's going to be living in the apartment in the sky in heaven forever. The Death Trilogy. We just put the Ayatollah in there. Who's he living with? I'll do the death accounting. And also, I did a little legwork on it for you because I try to serve. I did death trilogies. I wanted to see who's living with Osama bin Laden for all eternity. Who's living with Muammar Gaddafi for all eternity? Who's living with Saddam Hussein for all eternity? So we'll do that. We'll do the death accounting. We also have a story about we lost Maddie, a hot-ass former mayor down there in Louisiana who hooked up with she's a molester, and she's got a victim. And we'll talk about that. You know how I like to talk about. Look, we can all agree that when a 40-year-old driver's ed teacher molests a 16-year-old girl, that driver's ed teacher needs to go to jail, and that girl's probably going to need some help because that's a real problem. I just happen to have a different viewpoint when it's a 16-year-old boy and a 40-year-old Mrs. Robinson, and we're going to explore the latest example of all of that. On the other side, we got other stuff too. There's a lot of stuff happening, and I'm going to give it to y'all. It is a big Monday show. I'll take a quick break. While I do, we'll watch the skyline there in Tel Aviv. We are looking for bombs that go boom. Can happen at any point. We are in a state of war, although we haven't. Congress might argue with you. Congress is like, this isn't a war. We've got whatever. Hey, man, we've crossed the Rubicon. We're dropping bombs and bouncing rocks. What is this? What is this? Do you see this? Look at this. Are you looking at the screen? Look at this. What is this? Is my screen just dirty? Hold on. Let me look at this. Are those? My screen is dirty. I'm going to have to clean my screen. All right, I'm going to take a very quick break. We'll be back, okay? Let me go to the bathroom. Let me fix my coffee. We'll come back with a whole bunch more show. It's The Rant for a Monday. I'm Pugs, back after this. All right. All right, here we go. We are back. Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, hold on. Maybe a little thing will make this. There we go. All right. We'll keep an eye on the still no sirens. Still. Oh, do I not have the sound up? I do not have the sound up. Or is there no sound? Hold on. There's a little bit of sound. All right, then just keep that down there with a little bit of sound. All right, welcome back. War is in progress. Thank you to Maddie. She lightened the load there with a little bit of some fun entertainment stuff. We're going to talk about the other news stories. If we hadn't gone to war, it's not like I wouldn't have done a show. There would have been a whole bunch of other things that we would have talked about. The first one is something that is probably directly related to the war, and that is the story that came out of Austin on Saturday? When was it? I'm not sure. There was a terror attack. It's a real terror attack. This is the other side of, the situation with Iran. They have been, the leading voice in the region of anti-Americanism, anti-Westernism. The rest of those countries there, they certainly don't love the West, but they've, at least over the course of the last few years, seemingly tamped down their overt hatred of everything we stand for. We got a president who seems to be doing deals with these people. They all seem to be enriching him and his company and all of that. But like I said, it's a very confusing conundrum here. Do we really want peace in the Middle East? I mean, do we want peace in the Middle East to the extent that we're going to allow the president to become a multi-billionaire? He wasn't even a billionaire before he became president. He told everybody he was, but he sure as shit wasn't. He is now. How did that happen? I don't know. But how badly do you want peace in the Middle East? Because it looks like his little grifter con deals are the glue that is holding together these Arab nations from just going in and crushing Israel, which had always been the fear. If we attack Iran or if Israel attacks anybody, everybody will jump them. And guess what? That didn't happen. Maybe it just has to do with some Trump real estate deals, because I can't come up with any other explanation. Now you're put to the moral test. What is more important to you? Your hatred of Trump and wanting him to get in trouble for doing con man things when we all know he's a con man? Is that more important to you? Or is the safety and security of an entire region of this planet more important to you, right? That's a moral test. You got to ask yourself. The big story came out of Austin on 6th Street. There was a shooting. There was an obvious terror attack. Here's the story. Let me see. We've got, okay, let me get rid of that. Sorry. I'm never quite ready for this, am I? We'll stop sharing that because we'll probably want to share some other things. Where's the story? Here's the story. We've got some video. Obviously, we've all seen the video of the attack there. 3 dead, 14 injured in 6th Street mass shooting. FBI is investigating possible links to terrorism. I mean, the guy was wearing a something Alish. Well, we'll get into it. I don't think you're going to have to work all that hard to find a terrorism nexus to this. 3 people are dead and 14 others are injured. We haven't had a real, not credible, but a real verifiable terror attack in this country in a while, right? I mean, I know we call them all terror attacks, but we're only calling things terror attacks like what was remember the terrorists were attacking ICE. We only call it that because we don't have actual terrorists anymore to worry about, or at least we haven't in a while. They seem to be back, and on Saturday night in Austin, 3 people were killed, 14 others were injured following a mass shooting at Buford's on West 6th Street early Sunday. I don't know if I've been there. How long has Buford's been around? I haven't partied on 6th Street in probably 10 years. But it's right there. It's a fun place. 6th Street on a Saturday night is one of my favorite places in the entire world. The gunman was identified as 53-year-old. It's always a problem when the first letter of the name is an N followed by a D or something like that. That's not how names work. What do you mean you spell your name Ndiaga? Why, that's no way for a colonist to spell his name. The gunman was identified as 53-year-old Ndega Diagne Ocello. I believe he teamed up with John Mellencamp a few years back for a hit song. Ndega Diago Ocello. The Austin Police Department has confirmed this, that he's a 53-year-old guy with that name. He first entered the U.S. in the year 2000 on a B-2 tourist visa and became a lawful permanent resident 6 years later after marrying a U.S. citizen. He became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2013. Diagne was originally from Senegal. Don't even know where that is. Africa? That would be my guess. Where's that? Where's Senegal? I'm not sure. Africa? You are correct. Would you like to go for the bonus round and show me where in Africa? No, I'll just take the luggage. I ain't going to risk the luggage. I have no fucking... I'm lucky I got Africa. Is it Africa? Well, he's black. I'm going to go with Africa. The gunman was identified as 53-year-old Ndego Diago from Senegal, originally Africa. It says here, according to multiple people briefed on the investigation who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly disclose the investigation. The suspect was wearing a sweatshirt that said property of Allah. What is it, just a coincidence that this happens hours after we go to war against, Islam or whatever? Being spun in a bunch of different ways, I'm sure. Just a coincidence, just a coinky dink. You think he was mad? You think he's like, I've been planning this attack on my own independently for months, and now they're gonna ruin it by making everyone think I was just a copycat or inspired by? No, this is an original thought. He first entered the U.S. in 2000. It says the suspect was wearing a sweatshirt that said property of Allah and another shirt with an Iranian flag design. Well, again, we're not going to have to investigate this one. Too tough. According to CBS News, officials executed a search warrant at the gunman's residence and found an Iranian flag and pictures of Iranian leaders. CBS News also reports that a Quran was found in his vehicle. Oh, what do we got? What do we got? A news story here? Oh, we'll watch this. Hold on. All right, let's see here. Here we go. This is, I don't know if this is local Austin or whatever, but let's see. Why not? You're going to give me a news story. I'll play the news story. Here we go. Boop. All right, look at this guy. All right. Let's give her that. Okay, apparently it doesn't work now. Now it doesn't work. Now, oh, maybe it does.
And the caution tape in the area has started to leave this scene.
Why won't it let me?
Barricades that were lining up along West 7th Street, just a block from where
Grainger offers professional grade products.
They're making it real fucking hard to steal content, man. It's just becoming a real pain in the ass. Anyway, let's look at the video. Here's a video of the guy outside Buford's. Here's how it went down. Apparently he drove to 6th Street, pulled in front of Buford's, started shooting at Buford's, shot up a bunch of people, got back in his car, then drove apparently around the corner, got out of his truck, started shooting at people. That's at least the way it was referred to. Anyway, let's watch some video here. See if we can get more of it. All right, here we go. This is a live video. I think we all may have already seen this. It's been pretty well distributed. All right, so this is the guy wearing his property of Allah shirt. There he is. I don't know. But I don't know what we're looking at here. Like, is this him? Is this him? Who's this? This looks like a cop. Doesn't this look like a black uniform with like white police or something on the back? So I don't know where the guy is unless he's down here. Oh, maybe he is. Hold on. Is this him right here? I think this is him right here. Oh my God, look, I've seen this like 5 times and I've never noticed. All right, this is him right here, and these are the cops shooting at him. Yeah, he's shooting. This son of a bitch is shooting. Okay. And he's down. They dropped him pretty quick. Yeah, right here, he's shooting. But is he shooting? I think at this point he's shooting at the cops. I believe he shot up here originally. He pulled his truck up in front, started firing at the people. It was described as on the beer garden. I'm guessing that's what this is. Like I said, I'm not familiar with Buford's. Holy shit. I'm just now for the first time looking at the people up here. Do you see the people up here diving? These are people standing up. Watch this. Are these people hit? Oh my God. Am I just now for the first time realizing that I'm watching people get hit? Or is he firing at the cops? Look at them. Do you see all this movement up here? These people are scattering. Good Lord. Jesus. All right. So there you go. That happened almost immediately. And I guess the question is, I glibly, which you should never do, but we haven't had a Muslim, classic terrorism in this country. Is it coming back? Is this going to be a thing now? I believe it probably is. I don't know that I'll be going to any concerts or sporting events or anything like that for a while. I just don't trust it. You live, you learn. Besides, I'm old enough and broke enough where I can't afford any of that stuff. So maybe my lack of success in life will now, make sure that I can live poorly for another 20 years instead of being killed walking into a concert. That's, I don't know. I'm obviously joking about it, but I sure as shit have other people in my life who I love who do things. I got a son who goes out and does things, and that's how they're going to fight back. It's how crazy people who've been radicalized into their religion, and we've got plenty of these people in this country. Not all of them, man. That I don't want to be thought of as somebody who is sitting here going, everybody who's from that part of the world. As I said, most of the Persians that I know in America have been in this country for decades, generations. And they're just Americans. They're just friends. So not all of them. But there are. And this guy, a lot of people were like, there's, conspiracy theories claiming that the Austin shooting was a false flag. I don't know who's claiming that. Like, we no longer have these crazy claims that can be assigned to a political party. Well, I don't know who's claiming that it's a false flag. Is this like the classic QAnon crazy, which votes MAGA and all of that? Or, lefties, false. Why? I don't understand it. I don't understand why, but whatever. They're saying it's a false flag because this guy comes from a country that is a different branch of Muslim than the Iranians. The Iranians are what? Shia? Right? And this guy is Sunni, which is, the whole basis for the problem between Iran and Iraq that goes back, decades, is that, these two different tribes of Muslim. But here's the thing. I think that it doesn't matter. This is a false flag. There's no way a Sunni would ever come to the defense of the Shia. And I'm like, well, yeah, I bet it would if the entirety of Muslim was thought to be under attack, or Islam. Absolutely. At this point, they're not playing the stupid little games where I hate my neighbor, because there's somebody from the outside who isn't even remotely like either Sunnis or Shias who are doing things. So, yeah, look, that's a stupid. The radical Islam hates the West. I'm not saying Islam hates the West. I'm saying radical Islam hates the West. Just like radical Christianity hates gay people. Right? Not all Christians hate gay people. I know plenty of Christians who are gay. So I do think that we are in for a bit of a thing. And I'm sort of staying frosty, right? I'm looking at all these new alerts that I get that come across my phone because, I have all of these alerts. I have these things that I'm like, oh, is this one now? What is this? I can tell you there was a second situation that occurred yesterday afternoon that I absolutely began following because I thought it was without question, an obvious situation where this was another terror attack. What did I learn? About 3:00 yesterday afternoon, there was a situation on the DC Turnpike, the Beltway, where there was a mass stabbing going on. Somebody was stabbing people on the DC Turnpike yesterday. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. And then I thought, how the hell do you stab people on a road where you're going 55? And it turned out, here's the details. One woman was killed and 3 others were wounded after a crash led to a stabbing on I-495. A crash on the Capitol Beltway ended in a deadly road rage incident where police say 1 woman was killed, 3 others were wounded, and a dog was stabbed to death. Virginia State Police have identified the women who were stabbed, as well as the knife-wielding man who was fatally shot by a trooper. The stabbings and the shooting happened after a crash in the southbound lanes just before 1:30 p.m. Okay, so I said 3, but whatever. It was just after 1:30 p.m. Police said Michelle Adams, 39, died from her injuries. A dog was also killed. 3 other women who were attacked were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. 36-year-old Dana Bono, 37-year-old Mary C. Flood, and 40-year-old Heather Miller. Sounds like a bunch of girls going out for a girls' night. Well, 1:30 in the afternoon. A man later identified as Jared Lamato, 32, of McLean, Virginia, was taken to the hospital where he later died. Police said the trooper shot in self-defense after Lamato confronted him with the knife. The trooper did not suffer any injuries during the altercation. He's currently on administrative leave. Early findings suggest the stabbings. This is what we want to know, right? Why the stabbings? This crazy guy? He sounds like an Italian. He said Jared Lamato. He doesn't sound like, somebody who's acting on behalf of the recently fallen Iranian regime. But when you hear a stabbing in Washington, D.C., you're like, oh, God. So it says early findings suggest that the stabbings took place after a car accident. The main lanes of the Capitol Belt layout are looped, blah, blah, blah. So basically, here's what happened. Got into a car accident. I'm sure the crazy person who wound up stabbing a bunch of people, I'm sure that guy was at fault, but whatever. Get into the side of the road with a stranger. Tempers are flaring. Crazy people are all around us. And every once in a while, you're going to get a crazy guy stabbed. It's just awful. Oh, God. Speaking of, by the way, we're going to show you another situation here that I found. The Vince McMahon story. We're going to watch here, probably a couple minutes here. We're going to watch the Vince McMahon. WWE, my voice is going. It's the cold. I'm going to have to pull the plug on this show a little bit earlier than I expected. I'm sorry. The voice is just going. Vince McMahon got himself arrested in a car accident. And we've actually got the car accident. Yeah, let's do that. You know what? I'm going to table everything else that I wanted to talk about today so that we can watch the really cool Vince McMahon being arrested video. That's what we'll do. Sorry. Oh, we were going to talk about Jim Carrey being cloned. We've got football news. David Montgomery has been traded to the Texans. Oh, we still got to do the Death Trilogy. Yeah, that's right. We will do the Death. That'll be the last thing that we'll do today is the Death Trilogy. We'll get us all caught up on that. And we'll save the sexy lady mayor who molested a 16-year-old. We'll save that story for tomorrow. Excuse me. All right, let's do the Vince McMahon story. So this is raw police body cam. Here's the story. In Connecticut, a couple of weeks back, Vince McMahon got into a car accident. It was lightly reported, but it was reported. Vince McMahon got into a car accident. He was the aggressor. He was the one that was driving. We now have video. Turns out he was driving his car 100 miles per hour and was being followed by a cop and wasn't really changing the fact that he was driving 100 miles per hour. Let's watch this. We'll go through some raw body cam footage. Vince McMahon. Holy crap. Let's watch. All right, here we go. We got Westport, Connecticut. Here we go. All right, so we are looking. This is a cop. This cop is right behind Vince McMahon. I don't know if Vince McMahon doesn't know there's a cop right behind him, but this black car that we see, we can barely see because it's obscured by the Westport, Connecticut State Police words. But this is Vince McMahon. Let's just watch. Here we go. All right, there he goes. All right, Connecticut State Trooper Robin spots a Bentley doing 115. So this is Vince McMahon, 90-year-old, however old he is, Vince McMahon, husband to the Secretary of Education and the founder of the WWE. Here's Vince McMahon. All right, changing lanes. All right, now he's kind of slowing down, but yeah, we're going to go back a little bit here, okay? Because this is where it gets good. This is where Vince McMahon, does he not know there is a cop right behind him, or he just doesn't care? Watch this. All right, here he goes. Oh, jeez. Oh, he clipped the car. Oh, jeez. Vince doesn't know what.
692G. You can start a hook for at least one Bentley. I'm not sure about the cars behind me.
One more time. I want to watch the crash. Because, we're going to talk to Vince. Vince is going to talk to the cop. Oh, Jesus. All right. Let's just sit back and watch
692G. You can start a hook for at least one Bentley. I'm not sure about the cars behind me.
always the fun part because the cop has no idea. The cop is absolutely going to recognize him. Everybody knows who Vince McMahon is. And if you're a cop in the area where Vince McMahon lives, you know that, the guy in the Bentley going 100 miles an hour who looks a lot like Vince McMahon, context being what it is, you could probably guess and bet that it is Vince McMahon.
Just stay in the car. Do you need an ambulance?
No, I don't.
All right. Why were you driving over 100 miles an hour?
It's my granddaughter's birthday. I got to get this the next exit.
Right. Did you see me trying to catch up to you behind you?
I didn't see that. I saw light.
Trying to get to my granddaughter's birthday. Did you see me following you? I didn't see that. I wasn't paying attention. I'm doing 115 in a $250,000 vehicle.
But it didn't look normal.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up to you and you keep taking off.
Oh, no. I'm not trying to outrun you.
I know. I understand that, but that's why I was very confused. Right? Because it wasn't like you were running. It was just like you almost hit, I think, 115 miles an hour.
It's like, oh, God.
All right, and then you just hit someone because you weren't paying attention. Were you looking at your phone?
No, trying to drive. No, I'm not looking at my phone.
The person was right in front of you. There's got to be a reason you hit him.
No. I haven't been driving my car in God knows how long.
All right. It was right in front of you. You went straight at it.
He's got a Bentley. He's got a badass Bentley. And he's like, yeah, I haven't driven this car in a long time. And the cop's like, they were right in front of you. You drove right into them.
100 miles an hour. I'm just making sure you're not having a medical condition or anything.
I don't think
Do you need an ambulance?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Okay, so now we're going to get a look at Vince. He looks bad. He is not TV ready here. This is not how he looks like on Raw or whatever.
Just your registration. Is your license in here?
No, it's in my pocket.
All right.
He's like, God damn it. I'm a stupid fucking fool. I mean, let's just not being a jerk. At least he knows he's in trouble. He knows he fucked up. I kind of like, okay, this is so fun. Look, I can't explain why he did what he did, but at least in the moment now, he's not being obstinate. He's not being a dick about it. He's calling himself a fool.
Stupid fucking fool. I haven't driven this car quite some time.
It's fast, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, too fucking fast.
Too fucking fast. So Vince is basically admitting right now it's too much car for him. No matter how much of an alpha male he wants to think he is, this Bentley GT is way too much car for him.
State police. Stay off the road.
State police. So I thought you were one of the guys involved in this.
No.
Holy shit. Somebody just smashed me.
I know, I saw it.
I saw it. Oh my God, you saw the whole thing?
All right, so this is the woman that he smashed into. Again, this is an extremely wealthy area of Connecticut. So yeah, she's got herself a really nice BMW that's all smashed up.
I am fine, but I'm shaking.
Injured?
No.
Is anyone else with you?
My dog.
All right. Who's this white car?
He was a helpful bystander.
Yeah.
They probably know each other from Pilates.
I started to walk down because I thought I saw you pulling.
No, I was trying to catch up to him because he was going so fast.
He was trying to pull away and leave it?
No, he wasn't trying to leave. He was just going fast in his fast car.
It was terrifying. I'm still.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine that? How terrifying that is? You're just driving and all of a sudden you look and somebody slams into you doing like, I hate that. I hate when I'm on the expressway and you see somebody approaching quick. Oh, Jesus, how fast is this idiot doing?
You're in this car, right?
My car's fine. It's her. I felt so bad. I was like,
if you want to leave a statement, you could stay for.
All right, so this is the lady he hit, and that's her Beamer that he hit.
The trooper that's going to take the accident report.
So you just happen to be passing by.
Yeah, I'm going in right now.
Holy cow. I mean, I was just trying not to
I saw the whole thing.
Tip over.
Oh, are you okay, baby?
I know.
Shelby?
Yeah.
Hey, Shelby.
Holy cow. Thank God. I'm fine.
Yeah, no, honestly, you're lucky he noticed it last second because he turned. If he hit you straight on, it would have been worse. So, the other troopers are coming. I don't have a computer to do an accident report, but if you grab your license, registration, and insurance, if you decide to stay to leave a statement with that trooper, you'll just need your license.
That's great. You saw the whole thing. The guy,
Yeah.
she said he was weaving and racing with another.
He was just going very fast.
Wow. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank goodness.
Your car's not damaged. You didn't get any debris, right?
No, my car's fine.
I thought I was going to get a lot of debris
So
too.
you were actually trying to pull him over.
I was trying to catch up to him to pull him over.
Oh my God! Can't believe that.
So I had the steady lights on, trying to catch up to him.
Yeah, and he wasn't.
And then I saw him going to your car. I was like, holy shit! And then
Yeah, because he must have been texting or something and not looking down because he didn't see me.
yeah, something. All right, let's see. As long as everyone's all right. That's what I always say.
no.
Seen a lot worse on this.
I bet. I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
All right. Let's fast forward. We need more Vince. And then there's this weird moment where they realize that they've just been hit by Vince McMahon.
All right, let's leave everything as let's get him to your car.
Okay. All right. So this guy who's now just shown up on the scene, he is Vince McMahon's assistant, his personal assistant, who has run to the scene to sort of help Vince.
We'll wait for the information. Once we give you the information, you guys can take off.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
Thank you very much.
So you can hop out. You're going to go back to his car. What was that?
Someone hurt.
I like this. Vince McMahon wants to know, is anyone hurt? Is anyone hurt? That's good. That is good that he is showing compassion for others.
No one's hurt. No one's hurt.
Can I pull right over here so he doesn't?
Yeah. That's fine. He's going to bring it.
He also might be thinking about financial liability. I don't know, but it is good that he's on camera asking about the welfare of the people that he just, slammed into.
A little closer to you, sir. No, yeah, luckily no one's hurt.
Tell me where to get out.
Yeah, he's going to bring the car a little closer. Okay.
How much plastic surgery is this guy? He looks terrible in the light of day.
Give me a hand. Okay. You good?
Okay, Smithers comes running. Oh, the boss man is having trouble getting out of his $250,000 piece of shit car that he just trashed.
What a fucking idiot. Man, I'm up these fuck up. Wow. All right. Well, no one's hurt. That's the most biggest thing.
Just start from the beginning.
So I was like, maybe.
All right, we don't need this. We saw it happen. We don't need her version of what happened.
He's the owner of the WWE.
All right,
even though it's spelled
this is where they've now discovered that they're now openly talking about how it's Vince McMahon. In the beginning, the cop's got to be cool. He can't be like, "Oh, you're Vince McMahon." He's got to act like. But now they're all openly talking about it.
Yeah, it's Survivor.
How do you
Number
say
3.
his name? McMohan?
McMahon.
Even though it's spelled
Yeah, it's
McMahon.
yeah. M-A.
So he's the owner of the WWE?
This is the woman who was hit. The woman who was hit is now finding out that she was hit by a billionaire.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like, I don't know if he sold part of it but
Gee, maybe
he's
my
big.
neck hurts after all.
Well, you can't do that now. You're on camera.
No, I'm kidding. People do that all the time.
Yeah, they do.
I've had people do that to me when it's like.
She totally just screwed herself with that little line because I promise you that, if she wasn't just captured on camera going, "Oh, I think my neck is hurt," she could have in a couple of days after, consulting with an attorney.
It was
I'm not that type. Anyway.
Is it okay if I park? I'm his assistant.
Just pull right in front of my car, because it's over a bend over there.
Yes,
all right, he's all right though. Who's this now? What's going on?
All right, now this chick shows up. We don't know who she is. She's also there for Vince. She just claims to be Vince's friend. We've got Vince's personal assistant there. He's the very tight guy, with the shirt tucked in and all that, looking very good, very professional. He's the personal assistant. This chick just shows up. Who's this? Is this Vince McMahon's local guma?
Man, if this is the...
Yeah, you can get off the next exit.
Okay.
Oh, I love this. All right, so she shows up and she's like, "I'm here for Vince. I'm here for Vince McMahon." And she's walking, and the cop is now going to explain to her why she can't continue walking. Just watch how this plays out.
His assistant.
This is the...
Yeah, you can get off the next exit.
Okay.
And his assistant's up ahead.
Where is he?
He's up ahead of that. But you can't stop there. We don't have enough people to protect you guys up there.
All right. Would you mind if I just walked up there, though?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want you to get...
Just flat out says, we don't have enough people to protect you. You got to park there. You got to go up. You got to go around, and you can meet them up there. Okay. Is it all right if I just walk up there? He's like, no, I just fucking said no.
Okay.
He's up ahead of that. But you can't stop.
These rich people, they just always find a loophole.
Stop there. We don't have enough people to protect you guys up there.
All right. Would you mind if I just walked up there, though?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want you to get hit.
Okay.
That's kind of what I was just explaining to you. Okay, why did you even ask that question?
Entourage here. Yeah, it's someone. I'm telling them to get off.
All right, hold on.
Getting out of here soon. I'll have his assistant take him off exit 41.
Yeah.
All right, and you can meet him there.
Thank you.
All right, it's just I don't want something like that to happen and hit you. All right.
All right, now here's the woman whose car was hit.
Who's this guy? I want to meet him.
All right, so the woman whose car was just hit, she was just slammed into by Vince McMahon. She now knows it's Vince McMahon, and now suddenly she wants to go over and meet him. Okay, she's like, all right, and she's just gonna walk. She should look. She just got hit by this guy. She should, want to talk to him or something, But it just in this case, it's a celebrity, and I think she just wants to meet the celebrity who hit her.
No, I don't.
Who's this guy? I want to meet him.
Where is this guy? I want to meet him. Like, okay, you're going to turn, lemons into lemonade. You're going to have a good story to dine out on about how you met Vince McMahon after he slammed into you.
No, I don't. You can't go.
The cop's like, no, you can't just go, no. I mean, people, this is the opposite of what we talked about in Washington, D.C. yesterday. Car accident occurred. Guy went nuts, stabbed a bunch of ladies. You got to keep these people away from each other.
I can't? No. He should want to meet the person he hit.
I know. He's not happy about it.
She's absolutely right. He should want to meet the person that he hit, but we know that she just wants to meet him because he's famous and she wants to have that famous story. But she isn't wrong. Both things can be true at the same time.
All he cared about was if you were hurt.
All right, so now she's being told that Vince cared that she was hurt. He cared if she was hurt.
I know. He's not happy about it. All he cared about was if you were hurt.
Well, that's still my appreciation.
Yeah, no, he meant no ill intention.
And the other guy told me who he is. So, is he in that car?
Yeah.
She really wants to meet the celebrity, the rich Connecticut lady. Yeah, she likes it. Usually they have to pay, $5,000 a plate to be able to hobnob with celebrities when you're rich. But now she just wants to meet.
No, he's very upset.
Well, tell him I appreciate him asking. So, anyway.
If you just wait over here, I'll see if you.
All right, so now the cop is like, yeah, maybe I should ask him if he wants to meet. So now what do you think? Is Vince McMahon going to be like, nah, I don't want to meet her? Or is Vince McMahon going to be a man of the people? Let's watch.
I ask him, but I don't know.
He may want to. I would if I hit somebody, but, just tell him, I'm fine.
All right. They both want to,
what?
He wants to say sorry.
Dude,
Look at that! Vince McMahon wants to meet her. He wants to. Good for him. Look, I don't like Vince McMahon. I think he's another one of these guys. I look at it and go, con man. Like, I have that ability. He's another one of them. But just because you're con man doesn't mean that you can't have these, foundational, sort of blocks of decency in you. At least, he wants to meet her. Now, I think that he might be in charming Vince McMahon sweet talk mode because he's worth $1 billion and, she might have whiplash or, whatever. So he wants to be cool with her. Maybe that's the motivator. I don't know, but it probably would have been just as easy for him to go, no, I don't want to meet her. And the cops would have enforced that.
Car over there, that guy's in. I guess that came over. One of his, wearing a WWE shirt, going to work.
No way.
I swear to God, dude. And he saw the name, Vince McMahon. I was like, that can't be the same one. It can't be.
was on our way to my granddaughter's special birthday. It's only one exit up.
All right, that's pretty much it. We don't need to show it anymore there. But how about that? There you go, Vince McMahon. Yeah, nothing. Look, people have car accidents. Was he driving like an asshole? Yeah, we saw it. We watched it. He was driving like an asshole. The car was too much for him. Slammed into this lady. But other than that, I think he behaved like a pretty decent person, and I consider that's a win. That's a win because I wouldn't think that Vince McMahon would behave like a decent person, but there you have it. He looks terrible. We can do that. That's true. He looks not great. All right, let's talk about let's wrap the show up today. All right, we'll wrap the show up today. We've got a couple of hold on. Woo. So the Ayatollah Khamenei, he died. We killed him. United States military strikes against Iran led to the death of a whole bunch of like really famous Iranian generals and shit, but we don't know them. The one that we know has been the specter of evil looming over humanity since 1989. The Ayatollah there in Iran, he is no longer with us, so that means he dies, and that means we've got to figure out where he fits in the celebrity death trilogy wheel. Hold on. Let me because this is a good one. Where is it? Okay, here we go. All right, very good. Okay, so the Ayatollah, he died. Wait, who died first though? Hold on. Oh, geez. When did the Ayatollah die? Well, the first. February 28th. Oh, okay, February 28th, technically February 28th. All right, thought maybe it was the first. Also dead on February. Hold on. Wait, I thought it was the same day. Got to make sure. You would have assumed I did this before we hit the air, but all right. 27th. All right, it was the 27th. All right, so they're not on the same day. Well, the Ayatollah Khomeini died on the 28th, but before he died on the 27th, the world lost Neil Sedaka. Neil Sedaka started a brand new death trilogy, passing away on the 27th. Neil Sedaka's roommate, joined by the Ayatollah Khomeini. Who's Neil Sedaka? Yo, Pugs, who's Neil Sedaka? Who's Neil Sedaka? Here's some Neil Sedaka. Let's see here. Here. This is Neil Sedaka. I love my calendar girl. All right, we got him there. How about this one? Down, down. Comma. You know the Ayatollah Khomeini loves this one. This is a banger for the Ayatollah. You can be on the couch, dum doobie doo dum dum, dum dum. They're gonna be great friends. What else? What else does he have? A whole shit ton of hits. Neil Sedaka is one of these guys from the 1950s and 60s who had a whole bunch of hits on his own, like the ones we've just heard, but also wrote a whole bunch of songs for other people. Hey, do you remember this one? Neil Sedaka had a disco hit in the mid 70s. Hold on. This is called Bad Blood. I don't bad blood. That's it was a hit, a disco hit for him. Let's see. Come on, can't you hear him and the Ayatollah just back and forth? It's going to be fun. Who's going to join Neil Sedaka and the Ayatollah there in the celebrity wing of heaven? That's yet to be seen. 27th, so we've got 10 days. We've got 10 days to fill that third slot with another celebrity. Now, that got me wondering. That's nobody wants to spend the afterlife with the Ayatollah, but nobody also wants to spend the afterlife with, say, Osama bin Laden. So I got thinking, I'm like, who's in Osama bin Laden's death trilogy? Check this out. All right, I did the math. I did the death math. for you. All right, so Osama bin Laden, he died in May 1st, first day of May of 2011. Okay, Osama bin Laden died on May 1st. Dead on May 3rd, joining Osama bin Laden forever as a roommate is famed actor Jackie Cooper. Jackie Cooper. Okay, so Jackie Cooper was in Our Gang. Jackie Cooper was in movies, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I'll tell you this, for my generation, he is probably most famous for playing the boss, Perry White, the Daily Planet in the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Anyway, Jackie Cooper, American actor, joins Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden died on the 1st, May 1st, 2011. Jackie Cooper died on May 3rd, 2011. And this death trilogy is rounded out by May 7th in the passing of Spanish golf legend Seve Ballesteros. That's just such a random death trilogy. So it's Osama bin Laden, famed Our Gang character, and Superman movie Perry White, Jackie Cooper, and of course Spanish golfing legend Seve Ballesteros. All right, that happened in May of 2011. That is Osama bin Laden's death trilogy. How about Saddam Hussein's? Saddam Hussein's death trilogy. Now, Saddam Hussein closed out a death trilogy. In the case of Osama bin Laden, he began one. But in the case of Saddam Hussein, he closed out a death trilogy that was already, and I got to tell you, this is a death trilogy. Saddam Hussein's death trilogy might be one of the biggest death trilogies in the history of death trilogies. I would have to weigh them, but as far as wins against replacement, this is an unbelievable death trilogy. It began on Christmas. Saddam Hussein died on December 30th, 2006. He was the last person in. The first person in died on Christmas, December 25th, 2006. James Brown. That's right. The king of funk, king of soul, James Brown, the hardest working man in show business. He's living forever with Saddam Hussein. Isn't that fun? That's two of them. So who joined him? Who joined James Brown and Saddam Hussein forever? Well, on the day after Christmas 2006, the world lost former presidents of the United States, Gerald Ford, James Brown, and Saddam Hussein. Okay, so here's what's happening in that house. Saddam Hussein is in charge of everything, and he does nothing but fight with Gerald Ford about it. Gerald Ford, I'm just saying, Gerald Ford is not a dictator. Gerald Ford is a congressman who became a lame president. Saddam Hussein is taking charge. Why is he taking charge? Because James Brown is fucked up. He don't care. James Brown is like laying on a beanbag chair. He doesn't care what's going on. Saddam Hussein is absolutely in charge of that house. All right, so how about Muammar Gaddafi? Muammar Gaddafi, I think this was also back in 2011, right? Muammar Gaddafi, October of 2011. Muammar Gaddafi is the middle guy in this death trilogy. On October 16th, 2011, the great Dan Weldon, Lionheart, the IndyCar racer, died I got you. Thank you, Maddie. All right, I just realized I hadn't turned the mic back on. All right, let me do this for you one more time. One last time, I'm going to give you the dictator death trilogies. So far, we've got Ayatollah Khomeini and Neil Sedaka. We're waiting for the third celebrity to join the Ayatollah Khomeini and Neil Sedaka. I told you about the Saddam Hussein death trilogy, right? Saddam Hussein died in December of 2006. Saddam Hussein is living forever in the celebrity wing of heaven with James Brown, the king of funk, the king of soul, whatever. Hardest working man in show business. President Gerald Ford and Saddam Hussein. That's the threesome. James Brown, Gerald Ford, Saddam Hussein. That's a good one. I then told you about Gaddafi. Started out with IndyCar driver Dan Weldon. He died on the track there in Vegas. Very sad. I suggest you watch the documentary, Lionhearted. October 16th, Dan Weldon died. Then on October 20th, it was Muammar Gaddafi. And then they were joined on October 29th by well-noted British serial child molester and television show icon, Jimmy Savile. Jimmy Savile, one of the most famous television kids hosts in UK history, is also one of the biggest child molesters in the history of UK. All right, that's it. We're done. We're out. I got you. Been a long show today. Been a long show. Almost 3.5 hours. That's pretty good. All right, guys, I love you. We'll talk to you. We'll be back tomorrow, okay? Bye.